The fans now are so happy because the Rumble has entered the arena here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The first race of 2025 is entering the racetrack. You see it right there, the Little Donuts car entering from the north turn onto the racetrack. So is Austin Taylor's car. Let's give you the starting lineup for the first race of the night. The law offices of John Barrow, Sportsman 40-lapper. On the pole in the Smex number 22 machine, it's Dylan Ward to his outside. They call him the dog. It's Kyler Kepley in the Bark Buddies number 8.
In the number 88, representing Walnut Cove, North Carolina, in the Little Donuts machine, it's Chris Taylor to his outside. In the number 23, Jerry Hunt Supercenters machine out of Walburg, North Carolina, it's Ryan Robertson.
Starting 5th tonight in the Pro Choice detailing number 51 from King, North Carolina, it's Austin Taylor. To the outside, it's Big Brother. Starting 6th, the Kevin Says Yes.com, number 12, it's Donkey Strong, Justin Taylor.
Starting 7th in the 19 machine out of Yadkinville, North Carolina, the ever-ready mixed concrete driver Michael Adams, and to his outside, the 2023 Sportsman Series champion, the East Coast Wings and Grill, number 31 out of Walburg, North Carolina, Chase Robertson.
Starting 9th in the Shitty Coolers, number 15, it's T. Dawson to the outside. Your pole sitter with quick time yesterday, redrawing 4th, it's the rock star, the 03, Sterling Plemons.
Starting 11th, it's the Cam Knoll Construction, number 7 machine out of Louisville, North Carolina. Connor Branch behind the wheel to his outside. Out of Thomasville, North Carolina, the auto supply of Thomasville, number 38 of Mitch Gales.
Starting lucky 13th in the Avery's Tavern machine, the driver from New York. He is known as the Furnace, AJ Burness. To his outside, great family tradition right here for the driver from Walkertown, North Carolina. In the number 81, it's Zach Clifton.
Starting in 15th, the number 21 machine out of Royal Hall, North Carolina, the Harkey Litigation machine, driven by Tiger Tommy Neal. And starting in the 16th position, the defending champion of the law offices of John Barrow Sportsman Series, the Pulse Vodka, number 55 out of Lexington, North Carolina, Zach Orr.
Oh, folks, the show has arrived, baby. In the Pro Choice, the Fence Solutions, number 28, the Lexington Old Greg's machine, the number 28 of Billy Gregg to the outside, Squeaky Clean Express 0. It's the Zero Hero, Kirk Sheets.
Starting in 19th, the number 97 Apex Race Lab Everything Euro machine out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Justin Cummings. And the 20th and final starter in tonight's race out of Poptown, North Carolina, driving the number 37 Bad Daddy's Burger Bar machine, it's Chris Massey.
God, I'm so glad you could say Poptown. Remember like 4 years ago I couldn't say it, but hey, this is a driver, you could say his name. Everybody will now know Zach Orr in the 55 as a champion of the Sportsman division. In that incredible championship race last year that we saw unfold in front of our very eyes on Flow Racing between he and Chase Robertson. And he also, with his incredible season, 4 race wins, the number 55, earned himself the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series National Championship in Division 2. What a season for Zach Orr.
Zach Orr arrived on the scene as we have 1 lap to go before the 76th season of racing begins at the Madhouse. Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, all lit up brighter than ever before with the new lights installed for the Clash, ready to go for 40 laps of racing in the law offices of John Barrow Sportsman Series.
All right, here we go, folks. 76 years of history. What's old is new again. And tonight, as the fans raise to their feet, a new era begins at Bowman Gray Stadium. Green flag is out for the Sportsman.
Already big movement in the middle of the field, but Chase Robertson immediately slides into that second spot. Does a nice job to get the track position there, and a big battle for third as Sterling Plemons is trying to hold off Zach Clifton.
Unbelievable battle right now in 3rd and 4th position right there. You see it. There is the fastest car, the 03 in qualifying yesterday. Zach Clifton to his back bumper in the number 81. Here comes the 55, though, of Zach Orr up to the 5th position. Now the battle is on for the lead.
Robertson with the bumper, tries to get into him in 1 and 2 and doesn't have the opportunity yet, but there are 40 laps here to work with. And I talked to Chase earlier. He said that he was fighting, if anything, a loose race car and fighting just slightly different compounds of rubber, but he felt really strong about this piece of the whole, loved what he had in race pace. He said, we qualified top 5, we had the pace, we were there. I just have to go out and do my job as a race car driver, but we have our first yellow flag of the evening to slow us down.
Debris caution. 6 laps into the 40-lap Sportsman division race. The caution, the call 811 before you dig caution flag is out.
So yellow flag number 1 of the evening here. You see Jimmy Absher for the first time in a new look for a modern Chevrolet pace car. But still that same red Chevy Blazer ready to rock and roll and lead this field. Worth noting that current race leader Dylan Ward won this race in 2018, and Chase Robertson, who currently runs second in that East Coast Wings and Grill machine, looking for his 3rd win in the season opening Sportsman race in a row, Matthew.
Yes, and we'll start out with our first Flow Racing driver spotlight, and there is the Furnace. Hey, he said he's 30 years old, which is too old. I kind of disagree with that, A.J. Burness. And some interesting things about A.J. Burness. He's a former competitor at Oswego Speedway in upstate New York. Won the 2012 Mr. SBS race, a very noted race up there as well. He loves RC racing. He's an electric drummer, a metalcore fan, and, a mosh pit connoisseur. Now, I've never heard of that, but a mosh pit connoisseur, as we see the cars taking the cone, I like that. That's an interesting factoid about A.J. Burness.
I feel like for all the shows that you and your buddy Rob Blount go to, that you can take A.J. with that group, and the 3 of y'all will be right at home.
I've never been in a mosh pit, but now A.J. and we got to go to a metalcore show. I'm going to get in the mosh pit. Right now, he is in the mosh pit of all mosh pits here at Bowman Gray Stadium as we're about to take the green 5 laps into the Sportsman 40. The field slowly off of turn number 4. Here comes the 03, the rock star on the outside. Dylan Ward in that ultra fast 22 on the bottom. Now the battle is on for second. Robertson gets the spot. Duggins, the battle for the bottom is on.
Zach Orr did not waste any time. He had a slight opening underneath Sterling Clemens in turn 3 and took full advantage and immediately jumped right into the hole, came out the other side. Now he finds himself in 3rd. Clemens back to 4th. Michael Adams starting to make movement. Zach Clifton did not like that. Clifton sends Adams up the racetrack and takes the spot right back, and there's Calamity just a little bit behind, 1 car off the racetrack.
Battle's on for the lead, though. Chase Robertson to the bottom of Ward. Yellow flag is out. Ward will keep his lead. It is safe as the number 12 entered the infield grass. The caution flag is out for Donkey Strong Justin Taylor. And that Wade Interiors number 12. He is getting out of his machine right now. They actually know he got the window net down. He's pushed off.
Probably a better way to describe it, but we'll take a peek here and see the contact between Michael Adams and Zach Clifton. Adams got into Clifton the turn before.
See right there,
yeah.
He got bound up underneath Kirk Sheets, did the Justin Taylor machine, and something broke. Something looked like it maybe broke on that number 12.
Taylor was trying to get out of the way before all that took place.
Yep.
So restart coming imminently. Drivers coming to the choose. Zach Orr goes outside. Robertson in. Clifton out. Sterling Clemens in. Michael Adams out. And Connor Branch has made his way up into the top 10. I feel like Branch is one we'll want to keep an eye on. If they start racing each other in front of him, it's easy to pick up positions, and as tight as that bunch is in the top 6, top 8, would not shock me if he gets some opportunities here in the next few laps.
All right, here we go. 8 laps on the board, 32 to go. First chance for Zach Orr. He fires first. A big jump for Zach Orr. Now he gets to the bottom. Give the number 55, the defending champion, the lead. But Dylan Ward sees daylight. He also sees grass on the left side tires. What a bold move for Ward.
They are getting physical early at Bowman Gray. Dylan Ward knew that he had to stay alongside or he was going to lose the lead just like that. Everybody seems like they're fighting a loose race car, at least within the top 5. Plemons looking underneath. Clifton gets turned behind. Michael Adams spins him out. Call 811 before we get a yellow flag out one more time. So Clifton and Adams get together once again. I imagine that might have been connected with what we saw in the yellow just before this one. Choose code also already out on the racetrack too.
Wow, quickie caution here at Bowman Gray. Love to see that, and the fans are getting their money's worth here. Is that happened, and I was just looking below, and everybody was on their feet. Let's see what happens here. Ward, of course, is going to take the inside for this choose cone. The 31 takes the inside, and once again, Zach Orr, takes advantage because he almost got the lead there. He just overdrove that turn. It washed up, and it gave that daylight that Ward needed to just get underneath him, Dylan Ward in that 22.
He sort of made his own daylight a little bit.
A little bit,
which I think.
He exposed his entry, though.
Right.
And that's the thing you can't do here is expose your entry. And 22 took advantage.
He took advantage. I think it's just interesting that Dylan felt the need to be that aggressive on lap,
yes.
8 of 40? That, I think, is a statement in and of itself.
Hey, that's who Dylan Ward is. That guy gets up on the wheel. And all the drivers are up on the wheel now. Green flag back out with 10 laps on the board. Ward, that thing turned. That thing got sideways, and it's sideways off of turn number 2. 3-car battle for the lead.
It's maybe a 3-car battle, but it's almost a 2v1 because remember, Dylan Ward also prepares Chase Robertson's race cars too. That's a Dylan Ward racing machine, so they're effectively teammates, and Orr is just going to slide back in line in the 3rd spot. Plemons now up to 4th, and Connor Branch, almost as expected here, already making his way on the inside underneath drivers and coming up into the top 5, trying to fight off the 19 of Michael Adams.
And now here comes Chase Robertson to the bottom of Dylan Ward in the north turn. Super silky smooth. Give the 31 the lead down the front straightaway.
Lots of people in the stands cheering for Chase Robertson, who has quickly become one of the most popular drivers in this Law Offices of John Barrow Sportsman series. So Robertson, Ward, Orr, Plemons, and Tiger Tommy Neal has made it up to 6. Has found his way behind Connor Branch, knocking on the door of the top 5.
This is a 40-lapper, so we're going to see a section of this race, and I feel like it's going to be right now where we're a little bit more strung out. You see on the right side of your screen, Tommy Neal's red number 21, the 54-time winner at Bowman Gray Stadium, an absolute legend up here at the Madhouse. And right now, Robertson on the left side of your screen, stretching out his lead as we get into the single file kind of stretched out portion of this race. Dylan Ward right behind him with a very loose number 22.
Very loose number 22. Working lap 16 of 40. Now, you may notice that there is no ticker on your screen. That is because all scoring here at Bowman Gray Stadium is done by hand. So there's no actual digital scoring that we can plug into and pull up here. Everybody is just taking down laps, doing it the old-fashioned way. It's part of the charm here of Bowman Gray Stadium. So we'll keep you abreast of where your favorite driver is running over the course of the evening. Right now, Tommy Neal, you see on screen that red Harkey litigation number 21 currently sits in the 6th position. He's sort of stuck up behind Connor Branch. The thing I'm noticing, though, just ahead of this bunch, Zach Orr starting to struggle for pace, starting to fall behind Ward and Robertson.
Yeah, Zach Orr right now has a mirror full of that black number 03 car. Yeah, there it is on your screen. The Rockstar, the 03, the fastest car here yesterday in qualifying as we are set to hit, yes we do, the halfway in this 40-lapper. And right now Orr has his hands full of the 03.
Sterling Plemons looking for a way. If you're Plemons, I wonder how hard you push this issue, knowing that you've got a full season to try and go get wins, try and get points. But just within the context of this race, if you don't trust the lap traffic that Robertson and Ward are getting into, you almost have to go make the move now, I think, in order to have a chance to race them at the end of 40 laps, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. But, you do have 20 laps to go, 18 laps to go. But that, if we stay single file and kind of stretched out here, that can tick off really quick. But he knows he's got the whole season. Oh, the leader right now into a lap car. Chase Robertson tried to go to the bottom of A.J. Burness. Burness tried to give him the outside groove. And boy, oh boy, what a close call for your race leader, the number 31. That's allowed the 22 of Dylan Ward to reel him in coming off the north turn.
You wonder why I said if you don't trust the lap traffic. That's exactly why, because every time we come here, it seems like the lap traffic end up playing a factor in this, especially in some of these longer races, and that allowed Ward to catch up. That's also allowed Zach Orr to catch up. He's making his way through the traffic there now, and then you see this battle here. Zach Clifton, 23 machine there fighting hard. That's Ryan Robertson going for spots, and they're all over each other a little bit further back. This, I believe, for the 8th position. But yellow flag out once again.
Oh, it is. That's the yellow that Chase Robertson didn't want to see. But that's going to close this field up 26 laps into this race. And that's when the tipping point could take place. Ward, though, that 22, super loose. Super loose. So I don't know if he's going to have the car, because if you look at the 31, the way he's been driving around the corners, that car, entry, perfect. Stops, rotates, and drive off is absolutely fantastic for Chase Robertson.
That car looks really good. I think it's a classic case of you want your car to be a little bit loose. And a lot of the drivers I talked to in the garage know that much like many racetracks around the country, that Bowman Gray does tighten up as air temps drop, and we head into the evening. So they knew they were dealing with free cars early on when you practice in the day. But if you get the track to tighten up, you sort of fall right into the sweet spot of where you want to be so far as handling goes. And I think Robertson, I like the rear end of Robertson's car and the way that's rolling out of corner exits a little bit more than Ward's. Though Ward's car could maybe tighten up as the tires wear off, burn a little bit of fuel, so maybe the handling might come in on that 22. It didn't seem like it was handling all that well, but good change here. 40 laps is a long time for these Sportsman cars.
Choose cone is out. Chase Robertson takes the bottom. Ward chooses the bottom as well. The 55 to the top. To the bottom, Clemens. To the top, Connor Branch to file into the 4th position. Moves him up 2 slots on the board. Behind them, the 21 and the 19, Austin Taylor and Zach Clifton behind that. Here we go. 26 laps on the board.
First time, I think, to my knowledge, that we have seen Connor Branch elect to take a spot up in that high lane. He'll restart effectively 4th. Second car on the outside, so watch that 7. They stacked up there big time, and Zach Orr did not get going, and there's contact there with Dylan Ward, and then Orr is going to go around in the corner, and the yellow flag's going to come out. I wasn't certain they weren't already going to call back
they did call the caution
restart,
before that.
And then all that happened over in 1 and 2.
I think Orr is probably going to get a spot back, okay, because that caution was flown for the jumped start by Robertson, so the 55 spun incidentally under that caution. Let's take a look at this. The 55 is going up to get his spot back.
Keeping an eye here on Zach Orr. He'll have something to say about the contact there with Ward. But this is a replay. This is the restart. Orr didn't have a great one. Robertson had a fantastic one. They make contact on the front stretch and then contact again in the corner. And around goes Zach Orr.
Well, I bet you his heart rate is going. He is probably really glad that the yellow came out when it did. The defending series champion in the Pulse Vodka, Jerry Johnson. Number 55. I think we're not going to take the cone because that was a called off restart. So we will line up the cars exactly as they were running for this for that last restart. The warning has been issued to the number 31 for firing early in that restart zone.
And worth noting also that the restart zone is not the same as the restart zone that was used during the clash. It's further back towards what people looking at a normal oval would count as turn 4, what we know as the north turn here at Bowman Gray. So a little bit further back that way, but the zone lines that you see on the track, you can disregard them during NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series competition. And a little bit further back, just out of shot, there are more disagreements for positions, and the track crew is going to give us the opportunity to sort that out. I think, they might have gotten in line just in time.
They did, just in time, in the nick of time. Now, green flag is back out. Even Steven down the front straightaway and into the south turn. Here comes Chase Robertson to the lead, but fighting hard on the outside is the 55. Can he get down and close the door? No. Little bit of contact with he and Dylan Ward. Shuffles the 55 up the racetrack. Give Ward P2. Now the 55 hanging on for dear life on the outside.
Second time Ward and Orr make contact in as many laps. If Zach Orr can get back to Dylan Ward, I do not think that is going to be a friendly battle for position, but Orr still has to deal with finding his way down to the bottom. He can't get underneath Zach Clifton. He'll finally slide in line into the 5th spot after restarting second, and Chase Robertson is long gone off the front, already clear of the 22 of Dylan Ward by, call it, maybe half of straightaway.
Oh, little contact there between the 55 and the 21. The Tiger, he's snarling. He's got his hooks out, and he is ready to go. He's moving through the field and gets by the number 55. Coming to 10 laps to go.
Battle with Neal and Orr. Also battle for second as Sterling Clemens has made his way to the inside of Dylan Ward. Clemens is a fast machine. Does he have enough time to run down Chase Robertson if we go green the rest of the way? 10 laps to go. No lap traffic, save for one car in front. But Tommy Neal is going to go around just out of frame and bring out the yellow flag once again.
Crowd is going insane here at the Madhouse. Contact from the front bumper of the number 55 sends the 21 of Tommy Neal around. The crowd is cheering. Some are jeering. Already, week number 1, it's bird season coming from the grandstands. Let's look at the replay right here. Tommy Neal in the north turn. 55 gets into him just so slightly when the 21 was hitting the throttle.
The 21 was already halfway around before Orr made contact.
Oh, extracurricular activity here in turn 1 and turn number 2.
So you can see Tommy Neal not happy. Though, to be honest, in this case, I feel like that's more of a racing deal at that point because Tommy was so sideways middle of the corner. Or finished, or finished the job for sure. But Tommy certainly helped, and he just about got into Sterling Clemens there, too.
Tommy Neal is not happy. Okay, you know, it was the timing of how he got into him. They have a history between them dating back to 2021. But, honestly, where he hit him is exactly where he was getting on the throttle. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Zach Orr knows that. You know, here's the replay of what happened under caution. We were looking at the replay, and the crowd erupted right here as the 21 sending him a message. No egregious contact there, but making sure he knew that he was not pleased.
Definitely had his say in, did Tommy Neal. Never mind the fact that I feel like just with the way this is played out as the drivers hit the shoes and the lights go out the pace car. You know how Denny Hamlin had that 11 versus the world that was based off the Ohio State fans he hung out with during their playoff run?
I don't like to talk about Ohio State.
Zach Orr could use a Zach Orr versus the world sort of setup tonight.
Or Tommy Neal versus the world.
Well, but more Zach Orr because Orr's gotten into it with Ward and Neal and everybody. So it's been that way for Zach Orr in this race tonight.
Zach Orr, though, lining up right now in 7th position. Not too bad for all the skirmishes that he's been in tonight.
A great run, all things considered, yeah.
8 laps to go in the Sportsman season opener, the 76th season of auto racing, NASCAR auto racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Green flag is back out. Dylan Ward on the outside sends it in there. That car real free on the top, but he's giving it all the gusto.
Really impressive work there for the 23 champion of the 300-lapper at Martinsville to drive with the throttle the way he has, really controlling the way he gets back into the groove and back into the gas on corner exit, but just not good enough to hang with Chase Robertson. He's got Sterling Clemens for the moment, but opens the door on the inside, and Clemens has the opportunity to get second once again.
The 55 getting into the number 19 there, just that last corner. Some great contact now. The battle is on for second. Here comes Clemens to the bottom. The rock star, the guy that built his car. He puts him in his rear view mirror. That brand new Dylan Ward 03 race car is now in second position.
Does Sterling Clemens have enough time to run down Chase Robertson? Now it's 5 laps to go. Last thing Clemens needs is a yellow. If this goes green all the way, he's got a shot, I think, to get there. If we get a yellow, it could be tough, but it could make things very interesting.
Well, that yellow could close it up, but I don't know. I don't know if he has enough time to catch him. He might have enough time to catch him. I don't think he's got enough time to pass him. Coming to 3 laps to go for Chase Robertson.
Robertson clear, truly by a half a straightaway. Best car in this field right now, and by some margin. Plemons has made it clear that he's got at least the second best piece, but barring a yellow, it might be as good as that, no higher.
Robertson leads Plemons, Zach Clifton, Connor Branch, Dylan Ward. That's your top 5 as they race down the back straightaway coming to the white flag.
Chase Robertson will have 1 lap to complete. No lap traffic in front of him that he will catch as the crowd cheers, applauds, and salutes the 2023 champion of this division, who's half a lap away from winning the season opener.
Last year, he won the season opener by a photo finish. This year, he takes it by a country mile. Chase Robertson is your winner.
His 3rd consecutive victory in the season opening race for the law offices of John Barrow Sportsman Division, and his 13th win at the stadium in his career. Chase Robertson, class of the field this evening, and is going to be the first to head to Carolina Wood Floors Victory Lane at the Madhouse as Tommy Neal continues to make his point with Zach Orr. That could be our first, I guess, reborn storyline of 2025. We'll see that thickens. One. We'll see a few more chapters in that one, I think, throughout the year.
Hey, as the Sportsman division always does, it always entertains here at historic Bowman Gray Stadium, whether it's photo finishes and great racing or passion and a little bit of tempers. That's what you get here in the Sportsman division at Bowman Gray. And right now, Chase Robertson taking that checkered flag, the East Coast wings. Jerry Hunt Supercenter, number 31.
Also, another certified Justin Mincy nugget as we get some of our first ones of the year. First driver to win 3 season opening races in a row at the stadium since Ronnie Clifton from 2002 to 2004. So that's a 21-year-old mark that Chase Robertson has now equaled. I think he was alive at that point. barely just.
Do you see the Wally heads right there celebrating? He gave him the flag right there. The Wally heads are going to come down to victory lane, and this is going to be one heck of a victory lane here. Carolina Wood Floors doesn't have enough room for all the Wally heads. The fans now entering down there, and boy, oh boy, we see Chase Robertson inside his vehicle, and let's toss it down to Randy Pileup, and let's bring you inside victory lane. It's Chase Robertson.
Dad, Mike, cold bottle of water, sweat on his brow, but he had the field covered. Let him hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Chase Robertson. Chase, congratulations, my friend. What a way to start the season.
Yeah, man. That's 3 for 3 on opening night. We're just really good off the truck at the first of the year. Man, I just gotta thank my guys. We missed the pole by just that much, and man, it just means a lot to do it three times in a row. And yeah, man, I just gotta thank my guys and all these fans that came out here, my sponsors, and Dylan Ward Racing, man. He makes me look good.
This is going to be Burt Myers versus Tim Brown for the win at Bowman Gray.
Jumping up and down are the fans. Burt Myers is 11th. Hayes Jewelers 200.
This is what you dream of.
History as Tim Brown, the Rocket, rockets to the top of the all-time wins list. Tim Brown hits the century mark. Burt Myers, an 11-time champion of Bowman Gray Stadium. The rivalry that this place is built off of right now, the rivals of the past, the rivals of the present, and by God, the rivals of the future. And right now, the future is at Bowman Gray Stadium, and the Gladiators have entered the arena. Tim Brown, the Hayes Jewelers Jerry Hunt Supercenter's machine, and Burt Myers, 2 of the great rivals here in the Brad's Golf Cars Modified Division, and then the next generation right alongside of him. That is Slate Myers, 16 years old. The future is bright for a fourth-generation star. Tonight, his father right there on the pole. Will he win his 12th Hayes Jewelers 200? But the Hayes Jewelers driver, Tim Brown, wants to be the one that stops him. And, folks, they start side by side on the front row. The Gladiators, the two best here at Bowman Gray, at the top of the wins list. And they're side by side to start it all.
It was Tim who got to the century mark of wins first. Managed to do that last year. Bert has a very realistic shot of being able to do that at some point in 2025. Enters this campaign with 97 wins all time. So 3 more in this year would do it.
Burt Myers getting 3 wins in a season, not a particularly hard thing to envision, I would say, Matthew.
This is one of my favorite sights of the year. Bowman Gray is steeped in tradition. And right now you're seeing one of the great traditions that is beloved here at the Madhouse. The teams pushing their chariots of speed, these open-wheel ground pounders, up to their starting positions. No, these cars aren't firing and getting in place. The teams push them. The drivers walk with them or push themselves. And the fans eat this up as they cheer and wave. And the drivers wave back. They tell them they're number one. All sorts of great things here. This is like being at Wrigley Field, where the fans are just so close, Pike, that there's communication. The drivers are interacting with them, like Tim Brown right now. And you see those fans in the beer garden. And there it is. They're being pushed into their staging locations in turn 1 for the Hayes Jewelers 200.
For the eagle-eyed observer, and for those who noticed that they did this during the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray, and they did with the Cup Series cars, if you're wondering why they had those teams push those cars around before we got the green flag for 200 laps that night, very much a nod to this tradition in this race that has been going on for 49 years, getting ready to celebrate 50 here in a matter of minutes,
the winner.
I guess, right?
There's the winner of that Cookout Clash you talked about right there, Chris Fleming. And Lee Jeffries is pushing Fleming's car. What's up with that? I love it.
It's camaraderie above it.
Yeah, that is, man. But Chris Fleming, I'll tell you what, he has had one heck of a career here at Bowman Gray Stadium. And, I'm wondering if we've got a little breaking news. No, we don't. I see the 75 out there. He's just having fun pushing the car. Chris Fleming, of course, a big character here at Bowman Gray Stadium and one heck of a person. Yes, his nickname is the Showstopper, and he may be 60 years old, but he drives just like a teenager sometimes out there. But like fine wine, he's gotten better, I think, with age. And one very in particular thing that I love about Chris is he has a pet deer. Okay, it shows up in his yard. It's actually Faline is his pet deer, Faline. But, yes, he is a winner of that Madhouse Classic. You know, this is a guy that started out on the dirt tracks. You know, places like Madison 311 Speedway in North Carolina. He hosts also a Facebook show called Live at 8:55. If you haven't seen it, you should go be a friend of his on Facebook. And there he is winning the 2025 Madhouse Classic, the Cookout Madhouse Classic. What a moment for Fleming Family Racing, and there you see his family celebrating, pointing to the sky. A man of great faith and great character. Sure put a hurting on him that day.
Did put a hurting on him. It was an interesting race. It was not a car towards the front of the field at the beginning of it was Chris Fleming, and it really took about, I'd say, 125 laps for that car to really come to the fore and start to take control of that race. But once he got control, it did not slip. Controlled the last 25 laps, found himself in Carolina Wood Floors Victory Lane in February here, of all places. February.
Look at that.
Of all times, right?
There's the rookie competitor right there, Ethan Truel, and the Big B Coffee machine, strapping in for his first Bowman Gray Stadium modified Hayes Jewelers 200. There is Burt Myers and Tim Brown, your front row starters. Myers with a time of 13.540 seconds. His 54th career pole, which puts him third place on the all-time poles list, only behind Paul Radford, and a guy that has 144 poles, Tim Brown, the pole king of Bowman Gray Stadium.
So many legends here. So many great moments here. So much cool stuff there. There's Brandon Butner getting ready to strap in and get ready to go for 200 laps. But all of them chasing the one driver who's won more than anywhere else. And the one driver who's won this race more than anyone else. Burt Myers.
Yeah, you see the race car drivers now. The crews are leaving the cars. There's typically about 1 to 2 pit crew members that will stay by the cars and help them get strapped in. You see them leaning into the car right now. They will get the window nets up. Of course, we should talk about the second row as well, because the second row is an all Myers second row. So right now, Tim Brown is in a very tough Myers sandwich here on the outside of that front row, because behind him in the third spot, Slate Myers. We haven't talked about Slate Myers, but in his sophomore season, he put down a lap yesterday that he was on the pole until Tim and Burt, the last cars out, knocked him off. But an incredible run, his best qualifying performance ever in this modified division.
You figured at some point that Slate, with the know-how in that family more than anything else, was going to figure it out. And figure it out, it seems like he's beginning to do so as the lights begin to flicker here. And this is intentional. This is part of the upgrades that came about in advance of the Cookout Clash here in February. They redid all the lights around Bowman Gray Stadium, swapped them out from the old bulb style to LEDs, and now we can do cool things like this as we get these drivers ready to go for the Hayes Jewelers 200.
There are the LED lights and the roar of the modifieds as the Hayes family just gave the command to start the engines. Let's listen to the ground pounders. All right, let's give you the starting lineup for the 50th Hayes Jewelers 200. On the pole in the Citrus Safe number 1 from Walnut Cove, North Carolina, it's the ace, Burt Myers, to his outside, a 101-time winner. The Jerry Hunt Supercenter Hayes Jewelers machine from Tobaccoville, North Carolina, it's the Rocket, Tim Brown.
Starting in the third position, driving the number 6 Ben Gable Enterprises car out of Curtisville, North Carolina, it's Slate Myers. To his outside, the K&W Locksmith number 4, starting in 4th out of Walnut Cove, Jason Myers.
Starting 5th tonight in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 04 from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, former champion, it's Brandon Ward. To the outside, a race winner of the Hayes Jewelers 200 from Mooresville, North Carolina, by way of New Jersey, the North American Construction number 57. It's Danny Bad to the Bone.
Starting 7th out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, in the Jerry Johnson Motors number 13, it's Jordan Fleming rolling off the outside of row 4. And the number 10 Shooting Targets USA machine out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina, Mike Speeney.
Starting 9th is the Inspira Dental Care number 07 from Walkertown. Last year he was a rookie, now a sophomore, the real deal, Riley Neal. To the outside, the great veteran in the number 99, it's Crab Smith.
Starting 11th, the number 51 Wagner Appliance Services modified out of King, North Carolina, the Snowman, Junior Snow, and Superman starts to his outside. The number 69 Black Sand Company machine out of Winston-Salem, John Holloman the 4th starts 12th.
Starting in 13th from Huntersville, North Carolina, by way of New Jersey, the Stacking Pennies number 79. La Flama Blanca, whatever it is, cloaked in white, it's Ryan Skip Flores. To the outside, a hero from Wahlberg. It is the number 75 Wahlberg Pizza and Grill machine for the great Lee Jeffries.
Starting 15th out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, driving the number 16 Taylor Auto Parts machine, the showstopper and winner of the Cookout Madhouse Classic in February, Chris Fleming. To his outside, rolling off in 16th, the AAR Roofing number 12 out of Walkertown, North Carolina, Dean Ward.
Starting in 17th position from Walnut Cove, North Carolina, the L&R Transmissions. Number 9, it's Kyle Southern to the outside, one of the great veterans of the modified ranks in the Muddy Creek Motorsports. Number 5 from Pufftown, North Carolina, it's Randy Butner.
Starting in 19th, the M&M Transport number 44 out of Curtisville, North Carolina, Daniel Beeson. Rolling off from 20th in the Yates Grading and Paving number 18 out of Lexington, Daniel Yates.
Starting 21st, a rookie competitor in the Big B Coffee, number 64, it's Ethan Truel, second generation driver. And to the outside, the 00, the E-Metals machine. Oh boy, it's the Flying Taco, Danny Prost.
Starting in 23rd out of Greensboro, North Carolina, the number 3 machine of Andrew Hara. And starting in 24th, the Yadkin Valley Aviation number 35 machine, piloted this evening by Brandon Butner.
Starting in the 25th position, in the number 77 machine, Brad's Golf Cars on the side of it. It's the lovely Susan Harwell. To the outside, the number 39, Gerald Robertson.
And the final car on the grid, starting 27th, in the Louis Custom Services number 11 out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, it's the Flying Beret, Corey Laverne. For 49 years, they have run this season opening race, this 200-lapper, this one of the most famous races of all, at Bowman Gray Stadium. And to call the start of the 50th edition of the Hayes Jeweler 200, here is the voice of the Madhouse, Matthew Dillner.
Well, tonight the lights shine bright. The Nerf bars are glistening for now, because these are the drivers that live by the grace of God. And 600 horsepower, the 50th Hayes Jewelers 200 is underway. Side by side, two legends thrilling the fans here at Bowman Gray. Burt Myers to the lead.
They did not waste time getting physical. That's a theme that we've seen here pretty quickly in this race, and we saw it a lot in the Sportsman race too, as Tim Brown will settle into second. Jason Myers already to third. Tails wiggling further behind as Slate Myers has gone back to fourth, trying to hold off Danny Bone.
Jason Myers into third. Now the 6 of Slate Myers trying to hold off the ferocious charge on the outside by the hard charging Danny Bone in that 57. Bone trying to get to the bottom, can't do it. Here comes the shoehorn in, and that is Brandon Ward in that white machine.
Slightly different look for Brandon Ward this year. It's the Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports 04, representing Q104.1, big country station here in the Triad, but a fast car nonetheless. Had a lot of speed in February in the Classic. It has already made his way up into the top 5.
Junior Snow right there in the pink car, and there is the 75 of Lee Jeffries trying to get to the bottom. We talk about it all the time here, especially in the modified division. The bottom rules here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and now everybody is on the bottom because all 27 cars are filed single file around the quarter-mile oval.
Also worth noting, we have an unofficial ticker up at the top of this screen. We do not have electronic timing and scoring, so this is our team at NASCAR reading what we're seeing on our screens and trying to pump all that data in real time into the graphics. So as much of a challenge for them as it is for the people here to score, but we know how good the scorers are here at Bowman Gray. Best in the business. Jason Myers working the rear end of Tim Brown's machine, waiting for the opportunity to bump, although it is very early if you want to send that kind of message. 192 laps to go.
Well, right now, Tim Brown is definitely the meat and the Myers sandwich here early on in the Hayes Jewelers 200 for the Hayes Jewelers number 83. That beautiful day glow red and orange, number 83. Burt Myers with his famed orange bumper leads Jason Myers in third to the backside of Tim Brown's machine. Then it is in fourth position, the young Slate Myers. In fifth, Brandon Ward. Sixth to Danny Bone. Seventh to Mike Speeney. Eighth right now to John Holloman. Ninth position will be George Fleming. 10th position, rounding out the top 10, the real deal, Riley Neal. Lap traffic.
Lap traffic just ahead. That's Crab Smith that they're going to catch within the next handful of laps or so. Also worth noting, a gap between Speedy and Holloman that has begun to develop. So the top 7 all tucked in pretty well together, and then 8th, 9th, 10th, and that runs just about all the way through the rest of the field.
Here comes Myers, the leader, getting into lap traffic right now. The 99 of Crab Smith to the bottom, giving the leaders plenty of room. Tight real estate here to get around. If you've ever seen the in-car camera footage of modifieds around here, open wheels, big horsepower, and boy, is it tough when you're side by side. It's like loose leaf paper between these cars sometimes.
That might be being generous, honestly, I think.
A little Nerf bar rubbing, but
is the best way to put it in here. So, as you see, John Holloway working his way around Crab Smith, put Crab a lap down. Burt Myers, though, stretching this lead ever so slightly. It's not a lot, but it's definitely a little bit. It's definitely a noticeable gap now. It was maybe about half a car length. That's up to at least 1 car length, 2, as they stretch it down the straights.
Watching Crab Smith going through the field.
Back through the field, it's Dean Ward. Skip Flores, Stacking Pennies fame. A lot of you, I imagine, probably have heard his podcast.
See that number 9 right there? An incredible story as he just flew out of screen, but the number 9 black and orange machine of Kyle Southern. And Kyle Southern in that black and orange number 9 right in front of this battle. Kyle Southern had an interesting offseason. You know, lost his house in a fire. Did the driver of that black and orange number 9. And it was awful, okay? You know, losing your home is one thing, but then to lose your race car on top of it. Well, the race car that Kyle Southern has tonight, there it is on the screen, was a Drew Moffitt race car that he just purchased just the other week. So finally getting his program back up and going, and just in time to run the Hayes Jewelers 200.
Good time to get a car back, right?
Hey, if you're going to do it, right time. But man, that family had a tough offseason. So great to see Kyle Southern back, and great to see the field tightening up here. A little bit of bumper tag was going on there for a few laps between your top 5 drivers. The Myers family secure in 1st, 3rd, and 4th right now here. 22 laps on the board, coming to lap 23.
It's just about exactly how they qualified. Just swapped Jason and Slate's spots on track as they stand. But Tim Brown, the only driver that's found a way to break up that Myers sandwich, though Brandon Ward, I think, will have something to say about that.
There is Burt Myers, the Citrus Safe Pinnacle number 1 machine. Brand new paint scheme for Burt Myers on that number 1. He says it's Detroit Lions blue. I don't know why he'd go Detroit Lions, I guess, but he likes that blue. He said he likes that blue and silver. That's the silver on the number of that number 1 machine. And there is a battle brewing on this track right now with John Holloman in that number 69 car, and the 13 right on his back bumper of Jordan Fleming. Jordan Fleming with a brand new engine in that machine after blowing his engine in the Cookout Clash. And they got that engine from Indianapolis just a day and a half ago. Last night, or the night before last night, they were putting that engine in the night before qualifying here and got it cranked up that morning, yesterday. So close call to get that 13 ready, but the Fleming boys worked their butts off.
I think it says everything about how much this race means to the drivers in the Brad's Golf Course Modified Division that I quite frankly don't want to think about the amount of sleep that the Flemings probably haven't gotten, but those are the kinds of lengths they are willing to go to, because this race and doing well and winning this race means that much. If you have to go 48 hours without sleep to end up at Carolina Wood Force Victory Lane at the end of the night, so be it. That's just how the cookie crumbles.
Right now, the number 4 putting on a little bit of pressure on the backside of Tim Brown as they approach some more lap traffic here. 30 laps down of this 200-lap modified race, the featured event of the night. We still have 2 stadium stock races and a street stock race that is wild here at Bowman Gray to come. So the racing is not over here on Flow Racing. Lots of time left in this Hayes Jewelers 200, and right now Burt Myers stretching out his lead as the field works through lap traffic.
Well, maybe 2 or 3 car lengths. How soon does Jason try to really ramp up the pressure, I think, on Tim Brown? That to me is the biggest question so far. You've got 170 laps and change, but here's a battle where we may actually see some pressure between 2 fun drivers. Dean Ward, who's got tons of experience here at the stadium. Skip Flores of Stacking Pennies, who also has many a northeastern route and is right at home in a modified as well.
And I'll tell you what, it's great to see Dean Ward back in a race car here at Bowman Gray Stadium. This is a guy that knows how to get around most racetracks in this region, but in particular here at Bowman Gray, the driver of that white number 12 you see on your screen right there, a 3-time Blunderbuss Division champion here at Bowman Gray Stadium. And, talking to him, they bought this car from Patrick Emmerling in upstate New York. And they're very unfamiliar with this Troyer race car, this particular one. So spent the day yesterday tuning on the thing and thinks he's got it to where he's a little bit more comfortable. Here is the Stacking Penny 79, though, getting that position. Another brand new PSR race car, the Hillbilly Racing entry. Oh, and Ward washes up there, getting it to Chris Fleming. Fleming gets knocked up to the top side. Fleming coming hard, charging to the backside of the number 12 machine right there. Fleming's probably not too happy with that. He goes to the outside again.
Yellow flag, though, out on the racetrack for the first time in the Hayes Jewelers 200 to bring this field to a slow, as Burt Myers has led from the drop of this. And looking at this, I don't know how much heat I'm about to catch for this. I would not say that's the Honolulu blue of the Detroit Lions. I would say that's more of a slate blue. And maybe it makes a little bit of sense at that point.
Oh, slate blue, I get it.
Right?
I get it. I get it.
But it really
are
is.
Are you a father?
No.
This is one heck of a dad joke.
Those I do have down pat. I'm quite gifted in that department.
You're going to be one heck of a dad someday, buddy.
Oh, that's
all
a
right.
terrifying thought.
The lucky dog will be the Gerald Robinson number 39 machine, and right now they have Crab Smith's number 99 parked in the entry of the north turn, which is 3 and 4 here for you noobs, a la the Daytona Beach and Road course, where we had a south turn and a north turn. Of course, this is a place that Big Bill France and Alvin Hawkins promoted back for the first season, 1949. The first ever NASCAR weekly racing track and the longest running one. They've run here since 1949. And a Hawkins family representative has always been a part of this place and still is till today. It's awesome. Gray Garrison still involved here, part of that family, and the lineages from the fans sitting in the grandstands to the pit crew members to the drivers here at Bowman Gray Stadium makes this place truly something special in the American motorsports landscape.
Fair points. Also, you might have caught on the big wide shot there from the top of the stands at Bowman Gray that Lee Jeffries made his way back into the work area for service under this first yellow flag of the evening. So
you can take a tire. So,
right.
So these teams are allotted an extra tire, change tire as we call it. So, with that car really not doing too well right now, Pike, maybe it's a ploy. Maybe it's a play to get some new rubber on that machine. We'll see here just 40 laps into this race.
Is it too early, though? That's, I think, the sort of flip side of that, because you've got 150 laps and you lose the track position. You'll have to make it all back up, but there are other people who could, in theory, come in after, have slightly fresher rubber, take advantage of it with less laps to go.
Choose cone, the 83 hops to the outside, which is a risky venture here with not much rubber on the racetrack early on in the season, but the 83 of Tim Brown is going to go for it here on the outside of his biggest rival, Burt Myers. Mano y mano, like we saw at the start of this 200-lap race, is the two of the top 3 winningest drivers of all time at Bowman Gray Stadium, going head-to-head here with a full field of ground-pounding NASCAR modifieds. Now, the modern Chevrolet pace car dips into the infield grass at the end zone. Side by side off the north turn, the emerald flag flies. Bumper tag between the Myers. Everybody stacking up behind. 2, 3 wide for fourth and fifth and sixth. Behind them, it's crazy.
Big winner, I think, on that one was Brandon Ward, who was able to get underneath Slate Myers and Danny Bone and jump up to the 4th position as Jason Myers puts the pressure on Tim Brown and almost got himself caught out, almost slid half a group up the racetrack, opened up the bottom lane for Brandon Ward there.
Look at the battle back in the field, though. There's Jordan Fleming underneath the Holloman machine. He gets loose coming off the corner. Give that spot to Holloman. The field's starting to file into single file, and right there, the number 51 right behind that is the only side-by-side battle on the track. This track has not taken rubber yet, okay? You can see some dark grooves when you just saw that wide shot there around this racetrack, but it is treacherous when you try to get into that second groove right now.
Really, really tough, I think, more than anything else, just to fight out there. I think of way, way back when Chicagoland and Kansas made it to the Cup schedule in 01, and how for those first races, really the first 2 years, I think it was really truly one groove racing for the most part. That's about how this track is now. That should change over the course of this remaining set of about 150 laps or so, but right now, really, really tough if you're stuck on that high line. That's why you see so many people trying to get down inside. Battle beginning to brew for the 5th spot. Mike Spini pressuring Slate Myers. Those two the closest in the top 10 at least. The only other battle that compares a little bit further back, Kyle Southern and Randy Butner, as there's Spini yet again. Really good entry, I think, into the corner for Spini right now. That car looks good into 1 and into 3, or into the southwest turns.
He's knocking into the back door right now of Slate Myers. Slate Myers driving a very smooth race, but Spini, I think, is losing a little bit of patience. He was really late to get to Bowman Gray today. His son was racing quarter midgets, and there's the contact. Great save by Slate Myers there. Spini lays off of him a bit. Now Myers washes up high a little bit, exposes himself, but gets a good drive off of turn number 2. This is a good battle right now, and we have a spinner in turn number 2. Gerald Robertson and Andrew Hara have spun coming out of turn 2.
Second caution in this 50th running of the Hayes Jewelers 200. This race dates back to 1975. It has bounced around a little bit, but it's still the venerable season opener at Bowman Gray. We'll take a quick break, and we will be back with more action from the Madhouse here on Flow Racing.
Welcome back to opening night here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The 76th season of racing, the Hayes Jewelers 200, the 50th edition of this great race. The cone is out. Let's see what the drivers do. Will the 83 take the top again? Yes, he does.
So, you've got Brown up top. You've got Ward up top. Spini, Holloman, Ryan Flores. Skip Flores goes to the high line. Will restart effective 10th. Riley Neal, Chris Fleming. It's like the 44, I think, of Daniel Beeson also up there. Kyle Southern goes high. Randy Butner goes high. For this restart that will come with 145 laps to go.
Myers, Brown, cat and mouse game. Brown goes, Myers doesn't. Yellow flag displayed.
Didn't even need to say much on that one. That's immediately, you see it up Bowman Gray Racing and you know that one's going to come back. Why go up to go back down again?
Hey, they're fighting for every inch in that restart box. And right there, it's cat and mouse, but it's also, let's see what I can get away with. Let's see what I can do versus that other competitor. Now, in the box again, Brown goes, Myers doesn't. Green flag is now taken back. Yellow is out again. The plot thickens. The restarts getting interesting.
The second one of those, I just from my perspective, it looked like Burt was able to see Tim go and just waited and knew that in all likelihood there may be a warning coming down from race control. So is the third time the charm for the restart? Yes, it is. Now we'll go back green flag racing in the Hayes Jewelers 200.
Both those drivers even through turn number 1 and turn number 2. The 83 charging hard on the outside. Fans now on their feet, wheel to wheel down the front straightaway. Give the position to Myers. The number 83 hanging on a little bit more contact, and the 83 files in behind. Brown to second.
Brown to second, and all of a sudden Brandon Ward's in third, and Slate Myers has got around just behind, and it's a parking lot back in the north turn, and the yellow flag is out once again.
Big damage, it looks like, for Riley Neal. Chris Fleming, third place man in points last year, involved his son Jordan Fleming. Junior Snow, Daniel Beeson, Kyle Southern, possibly Randy Butner, yes that is, and the 3 car on the outside will be Hara.
A lot of drivers towards the back. You can see it there as Butner comes around, but they spun just to avoid getting damage in that. I see the 44th Daniel Beeson going into pit road. There's Chris Fleming coming out. Here's a replay. You'll see what happened. Watch. Mike Spini, Slate Myers, a little bit of contact entering 3. Myers goes around, and then everybody else just goes left, right, center, wherever they can go to avoid contact.
It's a good game. Left, right, center. Not a good night right now for Slate Myers, as he was having an incredible run, but now, because of the front bumper contact from Mike Spini, a little bit of overheating right now for the 79 car that has some damage on the front of his car as well. Looking at the number 79 close right there. But I'll tell you what, 8-car pileup here at Bowman Gray Stadium brings out another caution.
A lot of drivers I saw go into the work area. Randy Butner I saw go back there. Beeson go back there. I think Lee Jeffries has also made his way back there. Riley Neal had that damage on the left front. He went back to the work area. Might be missing 1 or 2 here on the racetrack, but there were a fair amount of drivers caught up in the biggest incident in this 50th Hayes Jewelers 200 so far. Keeping an eye also on Skip Flores' machine. We saw a little bit of steam coming out of the engine, overheating just a little bit there while sitting, but now that car is moving again, looks like temps are coming back to normal. Lee Jeffries and Randy Butner have just made it out of the pits. Neither of them particularly, I don't think Jeffries was involved, and Butner was at the very back end of that. Didn't really take any damage from what I could tell at our vantage point high above Bowman Gray Stadium. Getting closer to the choose here, and I think the other question is which drivers will pop out of the entry coming out of turn 4 at the last second to get their cars back on the racetrack. Riley Neal, I know, is still back there, and I think there are about 2 or 3 others that are working on their machines, trying to repair any damage and fix up what they can before we go back to choosing or green flag racing at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think the choose cone's coming out this time. We still have some trouble on. There is Riley Neal's machine re-entering the racing surface. There is the cone. Matt Garrison standing by the cone, his buddy. They're good friends, he and the cone. Used to be Jeff Bunton's best friend, but now Garrison and the cone, they're homies.
Have an account on social media, maybe? Wouldn't be the first cone to have an account on social media.
Yeah, I mean, this cone, this is an action-packed cone right here.
Action-packed cone?
Yeah, I mean, it sees a lot of action here.
I like
These
that.
fans are seeing a lot of action.
I like that as a handle, honestly.
Action-packed cone.
Action-packed cone.
Oh man, you know, a lot of people here in the grandstands, a lot of people watching on Flow Racing. I got to give a big shout out tonight to Puddin Swisher, Melvin Puddin Swisher, one of the legends here at Bowman Gray Stadium in the hobby division, modified division, every darn division, and legendary car owner who's not able to make it here tonight, but he's watching live on Flow Racing as Dean Ward's machine returns to the racing surface. Puddin, man, we love you. Can't wait to see you soon. Maybe I'll come up there to S&R Motor Company and hang out a little again. That was good to do that last year and have a little lunch with you, Puddin. Just one of the good guys of our sports. Oh boy, now they've done it. Now they've done it. Fire up the Facebook, folks. Little donuts, and we're just gonna add to it. Kettle corn. We don't have it here in the booth yet. Come on, Zach. I'm disappointed now that you're a racer. Are you gonna forget about us in the booth? Oh man, the little donuts. Part of the culture that is Bowman Gray Stadium. If you've never been here, you see the concourse up there. You know, great bathrooms, great concessions here. This is a place you could bring your family to watch incredible auto racing and an action-packed, thrill-packed, short Saturday night.
You know what I noticed just looking at that shot of the little donut stand over in turn 2? I'd say they've gone from a truck to a semi-permanent building over there.
Oh, that's just a bigger truck.
Right, yeah. Right, but that's an upgrade for them, right?
Oh, it is, and they've got a different location. They're a little deeper into turn number 2. I think they just wanted to move closer to Elgin Trailer's new camera location that we've moved closer to turn 2 instead of in the center of the south turn. Because why not? I mean, why wouldn't we want to put the donuts wafting behind Elgin Trailer, our star cameraman there? Got 4 cameras for you tonight, 5 if you include our daring static camera in turn number 4. Don Dunkley fielding that camera tonight.
Juice Cone, though, is back out. So I suppose we do have a race to talk about.
Yeah.
And updates to give. And nothing particularly crazy.
To the outside.
Right.
Deja vu all over again.
Tim Brown, of course, going to be starting effective second. Jason Myers, John Holloman, Ryan Flores, Kyle Southern, Chris Fleming, Dean Ward.
You know, here's the thing, though. Like, how can you not get excited, even though we've seen this restart again and again and again? How can you not get excited when right now we've got the two Titans side by side again, leading the field to the green flag. The green flag is out. Brandon Ward doesn't go behind them, but now they're side by side. Myers washes up and almost runs to 83 into the hot dog stand, but the Pileup hot dogs 83 files in for second position.
First 3 cars are single file. Holloman trying to find space up top. I think Brandon Ward probably owes Danny Bone a big thank you note because Bone could have turned him around. Meanwhile, further back, somebody did get turned around, and the yellow flag comes out again. That's a break for Ward more than anything else.
Chris Fleming in the infield grass. Chris Fleming causing the yellow. Not the greatest night for the Mount Airy driver of the Taylor Auto Parts Jerry Hunt Supercenter machine.
And I believe that is the flying taco that is stuck in the fence just out of view from us, and that's the real reason for the yellow. So great work there.
It. Don Dunkley with that great shot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Don.
The taco is not flying as much as it normally does.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes tacos, when they're wrapped up in foil, get a little smushed, okay? And that taco is a little smushed. He's had a tough weekend. You know, some engine troubles plaguing the 00 yesterday. And the driver, that E-Metals 00, a hand-lettered machine. They actually left yesterday. They didn't attempt to qualify. They left and brought that engine to the fine folks at Raymock that build a lot of horsepower. And the Raymock guys worked on that engine overnight and getting it back here just in time for today's racing action. There is Skip Flores, the cloaked in white. I don't know. Somebody said we should call him the White Knight. That's Dick Trickle. We can't do that. You know, La Flama Blanca. That's kind of like a ode to Kenny Powers. I don't know. Mexico season 2. But I don't know, folks. If you got a suggestion, I can't just say cloaked in white. You know, the Pope. I don't know. The Pope wears white. Nah, he's not the Pope.
I keep thinking something monochromatic because that's the only car that truly is just black and white in the entire field. And in that sense, it is different from all the other cars running tonight.
I don't know. Like, here he is, monochromatic. Oh, there's the suit, the greatest suit in the history of motorsports. The Flying Taco, Danny Probst. He's got aliens, cows. It's a Porter Wagner nudie suit. Unbelievable. Look at that. Look at that. Bow tie. He may have had a bad night, but he's still formal here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Class act right there.
Keeping it classy with the bow tie. I like it.
Hey, that's why the fans love him. I mean, it's not just the fire suit. He's one of the funniest guys in our pit area.
Yes.
If you ever had a conversation with him, you don't leave it without laughing. Let's take a quick break here at Bowman Gray Stadium as we tow the taco. We'll be back on Flow Racing. The code is off the track. 75 laps in. $0.75 to $1 as the modern Chevrolet pace car pulls into the end zone. The fans rise to their feet for another restart. Side by side into the south turn. Give Myers the position, but fighting back hard is Brown on the outside. Holloman gives him a shot to the back bumper. It's on for P2, 3, and 4.
John Holloman, I think, wants to make amends for the way the Madhouse Classic panned out. In the opening half of that race, he had the best car in this field by a healthy sum. And got caught up in a wreck about midway through it and never was able to get the track position back. So is this his opportunity to try and go after it? Bounces off of Brandon Ward and wrestles the fourth spot away.
That's how you get physical. That's how you get to the bottom. He got onto Ward a little bit there coming off of turn number 4. Now Ward on the inside fighting off the charge on the outside by Danny Bone. Here comes Speedy shoehorning his way to the inside. Now give Speedy the 6th position.
Speedy in 6. Danny Bone 2 cars back of John Holloman, and it was Bone that got into Holloman to turn Holloman around and
flip the entire complexion of the Madhouse Classic back in February. So
there was some mutual contact before that Bowman was not too happy with.
Right.
And Holloman even admitted it.
But
it got a little dicey.
If those two get together here in this race, watch them.
Oh, yeah. Brandon Ward right now all over the backside of Holloman's black and pink number 69. We haven't talked much about Brandon Ward, the white Suzuki Kevin Powell Motorsports machine that's in the 5th position right now. Kevin Powell Motorsports, he drove for the New Day Motorsports team last year. Okay, the white number 04, that's all over Holloman there in 4th position, 4th and 5th. Ward, though, switching teams. You know, now gone is the New Day Motorsports team, but much of the same crew members on board. It's basically the same team, kind of the same cars, but it's now Kevin Powell Motorsports, Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports.
Right. And an empire is being built over there too. They went Cars Tour Racing last week down in Georgia. They've got this modified program that's sort of the center of it all with Brandon Ward here, but they want to do a lot of things. Kevin was very proud of this machine, very proud of how great this car looks. Also said that they went to Suzuki corporate here in America to make sure that they had Suzuki's backing on this car, because Kevin Powell sells a lot of power sports vehicles as well, in addition to...
What doesn't Kevin Powell do?
That's a true story.
I've even seen him wear that 10-gallon hat pretty darn well for a guy from North Carolina.
That's part of the reason why he's
Texas.
That's part of the reason why he's known as Crazy Kevin Powell.
Hey, very good. Hey, anybody that knows Bowman Gray knows Crazy Kevin Powell.
Or listens to the radio in the track and hears those advertisements.
Exactly.
That's about as iconic as it gets. So
they're even trying to do stuff with media, which is really cool. I saw they hired my buddy Derek Bernasiglio over there, and they do a great job. Their social media, pretty cool to see that team and some of the characters here at Bowman Gray be displayed on social media. There is Speedy in that QRC number 10 right behind him.
Very different look. You talked about it very briefly earlier, but very different look. Got the support of QRC heating and refrigeration, and so now that car that was tan last year, if you remember the tan car that Mike Speedy drove, now it's this blue and orange that you see.
Yeah, black, blue, orange, silver. QRC, a huge supporter of Bowman Gray Stadium racing here. And Holloman right now, I'll tell you what, Brandon Ward's being patient, because he doesn't want to get into Holloman. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers at this stage of the race, but he is clearly faster and rotating very efficiently through the center of the corner, something that the 69 has to slow down a lot to get accomplished.
Work to be done if you're both of these, but again, so much of this is a cat and mouse game. Is same sort of thing we're seeing at the front of the field happen too, that we saw to that first green flag run to open up this race, where very gradually Burt Myers is opening up this lead. 1/10, now 2/10. Now Jason Myers pulling to the inside to let the 69 by in trouble. Yep, that's an issue for Jason Myers for sure.
Jason Myers, who is in 3rd position, heartbreak for the Myers family racing. Once they own the 1st, 3rd, and 4th positions, yellow flag is out. The number 4, Jason Myers, the 41-time winner at Bowman Gray Stadium, is slow on the track.
Yellow flag out at lap 95, just shy of the halfway point in this 50th Hayes Jewelers 200. Is that 4 machine creeps slowly around the inside lane, and I'm not convinced that car will make it back to the pit area here. Going to get a little bit of help from one of the Gators here to try and push it back. So Jason Myers gets some help. And while he gets some help, we'd like to remind you all that Advance Auto Parts and NASCAR have teamed up to accelerate support for local short track racing through the brand new Advance Auto Parts Night at the Races program. And Bowman Gray Stadium happens to be one of the tracks that will be featured in a summer-long, year-long calendar. The Advance Auto Parts Night at the Races store event will happen at 4917 Country Club Road here in Winston-Salem on May 8th. And then you will see at Track Fun, courtesy of Advance Auto Parts, on the May 10th night.
I want to go
at the Madhouse. So that's
look at that. Prizes? You're telling me I could go to Advance Auto Parts and get some great auto parts?
Yes.
But then I could get a prize, maybe some tickets, like autographs. Yeah, man,
giveaways,
cool.
autographs, raffles. That also happens to be the Advanced Auto Parts that I regularly go visit myself.
It is. Oh,
like
so that's right near
the very
guys.
Location. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I am thrilled to see that come to West Winston, and we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, on the 8th of May down there. Going to be very, very intriguing. And a big thanks to Advance Auto Parts for their support of the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series. As the choose cone has come out, Burt goes inside, Tim goes outside, Holloman goes in, Brandon Ward up top for the first time, Mike Speeney goes high. What does Skip Flores do inside? Slate will ride that high line on the restart. Kyle Southern goes up top. Waiting to see if we have any more takers on that high line. The answer at this point, no. So about as thin a high line for this restart as we have had.
Like Yogi Berra once said, it's deja vu all over again. The 1, the 83, coming to the green. Give the spot easily to Burt Myers. But now the battle is on for third. Holloman trying to move up to third. Brandon Ward on the outside. He was faster than Holloman's 69. Can he get it done the hard way?
And I think that's exactly why Brandon Ward took the high line on that restart, because he knows if he can get a few laps, that's a faster car. However, he's got to make sure he keeps that 4th position first. And Danny Bone not making that easy as Bone continues to fight on the bottom, but Bone got incredibly loose on corner exit, crossed himself up, and that allows Brandon Ward to take 4th.
The big loser on that restart was Dan Speeney, who moved back 3 spots and is under fire on the outside groove with Chris Fleming to his bottom right now, coming off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. We are past halfway now, 102 laps down, and there is the 16 and the 10 on the outside going backwards fast on that not-so-preferred groove. Finally, he gets to the bottom, does Mike Speeney.
Going to get back in line, I believe, in the 8th position, will Mike Speeney. So, tough break there on that restart. Meanwhile, Holloman sitting in the 3rd position, and Ward back in 4th. And yet again, this battle will resume just as it did inside, outside. Didn't really matter. Didn't work for Brandon Ward. Couldn't complete the pass. So, now he'll have to try and find a way to make it happen under the green. But I think at least between the two of them, Ward seems to have more long-run pace. So if we can get 15 or 20 laps, I do think there will be an opportunity for Ward to go get a spot in the top 3.
I think the 69 has kind of come to life, and so is the Brandon Ward machine. But I also wonder how much of it is the 1 and the 83 kind of pacing back right now. So it could be a combination of both. But Holloman, don't count out Superman. He ran a part-time schedule last year, only the extra distance races. He will do that once again in 2025. He and his family, 2 kids now, they just moved to Tennessee last year for his job, and coming back from Tennessee, and then after the races, drives all the way back overnight to Tennessee. But he won 2 races last year in that part-time effort, including his first ever 100-lapper, and one of the great moments in the stadium last year, holding off Burt Myers with the slide through the grass.
There were very few people that took it to Burt Myers at an individual race weekend here at Bowman Gray Stadium. That list might just be John Holloman, and that was about it. When Burt was out in front, he usually closed the job, got it done. But Holloman, with that incredible drive over in the south turn, really made it happen. Here's Randy Butner's machine, and you may notice on the rear quarter panel, a little bit more decals, a little bit extra on the car. There's a memorial to B&D Kaiser's Bobby Boyles, who's a longtime driver for that company, was lost in an accident earlier this year. And Randy and the folks, they came together and said, let's find a way to honor him. So you can see it there just above that Muddy Creek Motorsports logo on the rear quarter panel. It's a little bit tough to see on the green, but a really, really neat memorial for Bobby that Randy and company have put together.
Randy Butner, one of the good guys in racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium, has put so much into modified racing. A 22-time winner of modified wars here at Bowman Gray Stadium is the driver of that machine. And now looking back up front, you've got the 98-time winner, Burt Myers, looking for win number 99. That would put him above Jimmy Johnson for sole possession of second place, nipping at the heels. Speaking of nipping at the heels, he'd be nipping at the heels of the 83 in the all-time wins list. But right now, nipping at the heels of the third place position is Brandon Ward, testing the I-beam on the back of the 69.
Brandon Ward continuing to fight for position. Meanwhile, if you're a Denny Pros fan, the Flying Taco has made it back out on the racetrack.
Impressive.
You are about to see him become lap traffic, and it could shake up the battles at the front because Burt Myers on top of him, Tim Brown on top of him. They're the leaders past the Flying Taco.
Man, that 00 is going pretty slow right now around this field, but ultra respectful taking that bottom groove.
Pros will slide into line, and now I think have the opportunity to get going. Will make it in behind Lee Jeffries, who, to my math, runs, I believe, an 11th or 12th, just off a very quick count here of the field. And a reminder, as I try and do some chicken scratch math, that this is an unofficial running order here. It is hand manual timing and scoring at Bowman Gray Stadium. So our wonderful team at NASCAR compiling these stats, getting these names right, punching this in so that you can see something. But as it stands, it's still Burt Myers in control of this.
Burt Myers in control, 120 laps on the board right now, single file. Comes up to Gerald Robinson, the lapped car, that number 39 machine, a former machine that was helped build by John Boy, Jonathan Brown. And the 69 of John Holloman kind of coming to life, got into the back bumper of Tim Brown right there like a lap ago. And he's pressuring him right now. This has kind of closed up things a little bit here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
I think the interesting thing is that you've got that battle between Ward and Holloman, and then you've got Tim. And I can't tell whether or not Tim is just biding his time, or if he just is giving it everything at this point and he still can't get to Burt, or if that 83 is starting to come to life here under a long green flag run. That's an option too.
Well, we've seen it so many times here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The 83, you know, and then right behind them, if you're a history buff here at Bowman Gray Stadium, you got the 69. So masterfully driven for so many years by the great Junior Miller, who sits fourth in the all-time wins list here at Bowman Gray Stadium. But hey, the 83, the 69, if you look at your scorecard and look at the numbers, man, it could be any era here, you know, of the last like 30-something years here, 25 years at Bowman Gray Stadium.
We just crossed lap 125, so 74 laps to go here. Dillner, question for you, for as much as you've seen, if you were a driver, what's the lap number? What's the point in this race at which you start pushing, saying, okay, my patience run out and I have to start making moves? That's always part of the game in this 200-lapper, but when do you make that call? When do you think you make that?
Not if I'm the top three guys, not right now. You know, maybe Holloman, because if he can get around the 83, he can get that, you know, maybe choose the outside. But right now, you're still in the ride mode, I think. You know, I think you're in ride mode. You're see what your car has, see how you can make it turn. You don't want to get a tire super angry, but right now these tires that are on these race cars don't wear that much. Okay, these guys' tongues aren't really hanging out at the end of 150, 200 laps. Oh, trouble in the south turn. The 3 of Hara has gone around, and Kyle Southern, innocent victim, couldn't get it slowed and woed down and gets contacted to the number 3.
We'll see how bad the damage is on the right front of Kyle Southern's machine, but for the moment, those two are parked over there. Just to finish the question, I spoke to some drivers earlier today and asked them basically that question, and it was all ballpark answer of about like 150 to 175, somewhere in that stretch. As we'll take an opportunity to look at the replay and see what happened here. So Andrew Hara, Mike Spini. Contact there was Skip Flores. He bounced off the fence, got loose, got help from Mike Spini.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere Spini could go there, though.
Right.
The 3 just bounced off the wall and like pinball wizard right there, you know.
So Spini happens to be parked right in front of where our booth position is, and I'm trying to get a good look at that right front tire because that's the one that made contact with Hara. And the question I have is, how bad is that damage on Spini's
I don't
machine?
think it doesn't look like it bent a rim on the number 10 here at the start-finish line. Maybe it knocked. You see him turning the wheel to the left and the right. You know, he's shaking down the car right now to see if maybe it knocked the toe in at all. I don't think it did. Let's look at the replay here again. You see Hara on the outside, the Myers Racing number 3. Little fence contact right there. It sent him sideways, nowhere for the 10 to go. Kind of square contact. So I don't think it would, if anything, it could bend it a little bit, but you hate to see that for Kyle Southern, the number 9 machine. What that family has been through with that house fire. Just miraculous to see them back at the racetrack, and we're so happy that they are back here in that number 9 machine.
Agreed. Also, another point that I just sort of pieced together on that, and our producer also noted it to us. That's the first real test we've seen of this new safer barrier here. Part of the upgrades in the offseason. Well, practice aside, but in race trim. But that was one of the big upgrades over the course of the all-season in advance of the Clash. They took out the guardrail that had been in place since the early 1960s. I believe either 61 or 63 or 62. 62, Justin Mincy corrects me on. So 1962, that guardrail had been in place for 60 years just about. Yep. They took it out, replaced it with a safer barrier. No doubt that the way we saw Speedy's car bounce off the wall, if that's the old Armco guardrail that was there, does it come off the wall as different, or does it come off the wall differently, 100%. And does it cause more damage?
100%.
But that's part of the new this year.
Sprung, right? It would have sprung off the wall a lot more. Mm-hmm. Okay, right there, it's very hard contact there, but it doesn't spring off the wall like it used to.
Or rather, Hara, not Speedy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the old guardrail had more pliability to it. I can't speak. Thank God they don't pay me to talk.
Yeah, right.
But it had a little bit more spring. It had a little bit more give, did the old Armco barrier, believe it or not.
And the other thing worth noting, too, is that it changes, especially in the entry and exit of the north turn.
Yes.
It tightens that up a little bit because the Armco was right up against the grandstand there. The safer barrier is still, but it definitely still juts out on the racetrack a little bit. You can kind of see it here on the speed shot, but I'd say you lost probably about a foot.
You lost the Pileup can opener, basically.
Right. We did with apologies to Jeff Bunton.
Yes. The can opener's gone. Jeff Bunton isn't. He'll be back this year. But you see it right there on the shot. Look right there, and you look down to where that fence is, where the beer garden is, that chain link fence, down where the line is, the wall down there. It juts out like the can opener did, but it juts out longer. That's the only difference. It doesn't jut out more right there, but it juts out further down the front stretch.
Actually, as I sort of think about it, it was about a person's width just standing down there walking the track in advance of the Clash. So maybe almost 2 feet then, or 3 or 4, depending on how wide of a person you may or may not be.
What did you say?
Just that the length of the sort of jut out of that part of the wall.
It only, actually, you know what? It only juts out about like 4 more inches, though. It's an optical illusion.
End, yeah.
Like it really does, but the difference is how long it stays out there coming out of 4.
Right,
That's
right.
It right there. Right there. You see that little
corner
dip right there?
But the gap from the shortest point to if you're just on the straightaway, it's about a person width. So Dillner's right in that it is a short extension in its place, but
there it is.
It opens up a lot more.
There's the wall. You see the wall, the concrete facade of the wall. That's where the can opener was. So the wall kind of juts back out there. But now as you go further down the front stretch, it's actually it doesn't go right back in. It stays out there for about like what you were saying, like maybe 7-8 feet longer. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, it is a different racetrack. It doesn't shorten it up that much, but it definitely changes that dynamic.
It doesn't shorten it, but it changes your angle on corner exit.
Exactly.
So
Coney's out.
Coney is indeed out.
Jerry Coney, former named after a former boxing great. Jerry Coney. You remember him? No.
True. Yeah, that very rarely are bells not rung in my head off names, and that I honestly.
Oh, Jerry Cooney. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that helps. That helped.
The last horse crossed the finish line.
Holloman also going to the back of the field,
Holloman
or is he in trouble?
Yellow flag is out. They display the yellow flag as we come to the restart here. The drivers fire, but the yellow flag has been displayed. Holloman, who is in third position, has come to a stop on the back straightaway. Superman's night could be over. Kryptonite. He's waving that he needs a push. He's got it in reverse.
Superman will need a push that's a little bit longer than 3 doors down, because it's not exactly a short run to the pit entrance here at Bowman Gray. It's
speaking of Jeff Mutton, I mean, we went to see 3 Doors Down last year.
Probably a good show, I bet.
It's a damn good show.
Of course.
He is getting the push from the Midway Mobile Storage Gator.
Would have never known they were from Mississippi to start if I hadn't done my research.
Huh.
But they are Mississippi natives. Electrical issues.
Electrical
issues we're hearing for John Holloman. So Holloman goes back to the pit area. We get set and ready for the restart on.
Oh, that's a
lap
shame right now that yellow lights are back out. That's the right move by track officials. Here's a guy who was in 3rd position, and he just gets pushed to the pits. We still have a lot of racing left. This is old school short track racing right here, where when you go to the pits, you should be given at least a lap and a half or so of courtesy to see if it's a terminal issue. We are coming to the 1 to go, so Holloman would have to make it quick. But being that he was getting a push, probably not returning is my guess.
So restart to come lap 140, and right on cue here.
Oh, Little Donuts have arrived.
The Little Donuts have arrived.
Oh, what a tease. We got the Titans going side by side for modified glory here as we come to the restart, and we've got donuts, cinnamon sugar. I'll tell you what.
Looks like maple.
Cinnamon. This is cinnamon sugar.
I'm pretty sure
top
there's a maple.
Right here. Here we go. 139 on the board. Myers a stack up behind. Slate Myers and them stack up, but Burt Myers takes the lead now. Contact. Oh, Brown with the save. Gives Skip Flores 2nd position, but what a save, holy moly, on the outside by Tim Brown.
So much happened there in that stretch. Slate Myers could not get going, and all of a sudden, Skip Flores with the restart of a lifetime to get up into 2nd and jump ahead of Tim Brown, of Danny Bone, of Mike Spini, of Brandon Ward. This is going to be fun watching Skip try and hang on to these spots.
I don't think that Tim Brown is too happy right now. The driver of that number 83 machine. I don't care what you call him, Casper, whatever. Call him the Choose Cone hero right there, because he utilized that Choose Cone restart to his advantage. Now, Skip Flores, a champion of indoor TQ midget racing, a kid that came from Wall Stadium, a kid that came from nothing, a kid that was raised in the Blewett Junkyard, is P2 for the Hayes Jewelers 200.
How about this? I have to believe he's grinning from ear to ear behind the wheel of that thing. No doubt in my mind that Skip Flores is having the absolute most fun of anybody in this field, even if he's having to hold on Tim Brown. But he's not running poorly at all. He's within touching distance of Burt Myers. Burt hasn't really been able to extend that gap. Meanwhile, it is a brawl for 3rd. Let's not forget that. While these two are nose to tail, Mike Speedy's been able to jump up into the 4th spot, rather.
I'll tell you what, Speedy right now back up to 4th, but Skip Flores, what a run. That's a brand new PSR race car. That it's his race car, but they're fielding it, of course, with Hillbilly Motorsports there and the Hill family. And I'll tell you what, this is awesome to see. Of course, they have Justin Link helping them with the setups on that car, as he's been helping them with the Smart Modified Tour, that 79 car this year. And now Tim Brown all over the backside of the number 79 has reeled them in. Right now the battle is on for 2nd position again.
Battle on for 2nd, battle on for 4th.
Oh, the battle is on for 4th. Oh, contact for 4th right now. Brandon Ward gets into the number 10 of Spini. These two drivers parked next to each other on pit road. Yellow flag has been displayed.
Caution out.
Oh, now I can't wait for the Choose Cone, because now for the first time we don't have Tim Brown just saying, okay, I'm going to take the top.
Right.
This is going to get interesting.
What do you do if you are Ryan Flores?
What would you do for a Klondike bar? That's what I thought you were going to say. Of course, we remind you of Advance Auto Parts Night at the Races, May 10th here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and make sure you go here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to James Pike's Advance Auto Parts location. on May 8th for driver autographs, for prizes, and all sorts of fun here. Advance Auto Parts night at the races. Where is that Advance Auto Parts, buddy? Country Club?
4917 Country Club Road here in Winston-Salem. A lot of good eats options. So you could legitimately go get dinner at about 5 or 6 different places around there.
We had good dinner last night.
We did.
We had a good dinner last night. What was the name of that place?
Quiet Pint Tavern.
Quiet Pint. It wasn't quiet because you and I were there.
Right.
Talking about racing, obviously. But today we had some Pileup hot dogs, had some Big B coffee, because they support racing. The other night we went down to another great supporter of Bowman Gray Racing, Chris Carter's Talking Circle show had it at Zeno Marshall's Thunder Road Grill, which is a beloved place in the Bowman Gray Circle.
Let's also not forget that our waitress last night was best friends with the wife of K-Train, Kevin Gilbert.
Yes, the K-Train.
So we'll see K-Train in action a little bit later.
Let's look at some of this action here on the restart here. You see Skip Flores. Oh, look at that save by Tim Brown on the outside. Flores got into him pretty darn hard. And then there's some action that heated up right before this yellow flag. You see it right there. Brennan Ward getting that right front tire into Mike Speeney, and this is where the yellow flag came out. Business is picking up 152 laps on the board. Right now, it's Burt Myers. New right front tire on the 57 of Danny Bone as he returns to the racing surface. He's been racing well within the top 5 tonight for most of the night for that New Jersey third-generation driver that now resides in Mooresville, North Carolina.
During this yellow, Randy Butner has come and gone from the pit area back out on the racetrack. Another Mincy nugget for you. Remember that you talked a little bit about it, that Skip's got plenty of experience TQ midget racing in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And to win the championship, I forget how many years this was ago in TQ midget racing, but he and Andy Jankowiak had a great battle. And Skip had to run around the outside to get him. And so I think about that in a moment like this because these are kind of overgrown TQ midgets.
And Skip Flores, I'm just going to tell you this. How do I say this? He has some gusto to him. Let's just say that, okay? The kid cinches the belts tight, and he could put it to the top, and he just did it there for the choose cone restart. He starts to the outside of Burt Myers. Burt Myers, cat and mouse game with as a little bit of an inexperienced Ryan Flores. He's never restarted alongside Burt Myers at the front of this field. That's a veteran trying to teach a youngster some tricks.
And if you go before Burt sees it, he will just wait.
He's going to stop.
He will force the warning, for sure.
Hey, that's part of restarting here at Bowman Gray. This place is unique. Now Myers, the first to the loud pedal. Can the 79 get down? Yes, he does. Now Tim Brown to the I-beam. Flores hangs on, files in for second, single file. Here comes Lee Jeffries, racing his way into the 5th spot, that white number 75.
Maybe that tire might be paying off for Lee Jeffries now. He's one of the few that came in to get a little bit of fresh rubber in this race, and all of a sudden has found his way to the top 5. Brandon Ward, though, continuing to look underneath Tim Brown and really starting to apply the pressure. The KP Speed Motorsports Racing down to the inside looking for 3rd.
He gets into him in the south turn. Now, here comes Brandon Ward. Give him P3. Now Brown to his back bumper, gives him a little tippity tap, says, I know what you did.
Knows what he did. The problem is that Brandon Ward's car is just getting out of the corner better. He's driving away from, you can already see it. There's a car length gap that's been established in the last lap or two. Brandon Ward has an absolute piece tonight. He rocketed past the Rocket, now trying to do the same thing to go around Skip Flores, get to second, and have the best track position he's had all night long.
A bottleneck coming off the north turn. Now, white car on white car to the bottom. Here comes Ward. Give him P2. Now to the inside for P3 is Tim Brown. Side by side, those drivers. Really some physical racing here at Bowman Gray. And now Lee Jeffries sees opportunity.
I would say that Tim Brown, remembering how it panned out between he and Flores' few laps, going repaying the favor. And now the conga line begins to form underneath Skip Flores. Jeffries is clear. Speeney is down there. Southern waiting in the wings. Slate Myers, Chris, Danny Bone, Riley Neal, all stacked up in line. And contact between Southern and Skip Flores.
That's one way to get to the bottom.
Anyway.
162 laps on the board right now as we're single file around the famed quarter mile. Rivals everywhere you look here. New, young, old, middle-aged, whatever it is. First place, Burt Myers. Second place, Brandon Ward. Those two tussled a few years ago. Then, of course, in third, Tim Brown. Fourth now to Lee Jeffries. Fifth to Mike Speeney. Sixth, Ryan Flores back to sixth. Seventh position for Kyle Southern. Eighth to young Slate Myers. Ninth to Chris Fleming. And rounding out the top 10, the 57 of Danny Bone.
Riley Neal in 11th, just behind that group. Dean Ward 12th, Andrew Harrah up to 13th, Randy Butner 14th in this race, but still Burt Myers in control. Interestingly enough, though, Brandon Ward, I think, started to close that gap. That car has had speed, and it has not had either track position or clean track. Now, for the most part, he's got both. We're starting to see how this will shape up. And Ward's taking a little bit of a different line here. You'll notice that he's sort of diamonding the corners, entering shallow, drifting up a little bit, and then pinching it back down on exit, and it's working. He's reeling in Burt. That leads down to a car length.
He cast out the reel, and he's turning it. And right now, the number one is seeing that white Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports machine grow bigger and bigger with each lap here at the famed quarter mile.
When do you make your move? And how much do you think you have a better car under a green flag run than you do under yellow flag conditions? That, I think, has to be percolating in the back of Brandon Ward's mind, because if you think you've got a better car now, especially if you need a few laps to get going, if we get another yellow flag, you're not going to have a run as long as this. So if you think you have a long run car, now is the time to try and get the lead.
Mike Speeney moved Mike Speeney up to the fourth position. Speeney now up to fourth. Slate Myers with some trouble. Chris Fleming in trouble here on the front straightaway. Yellow flag is out for the driver of the Surrey Chemicals, number 16, your third place finisher in points last year, the number 16 of Chris Fleming.
So Fleming was the slow one that officially brought out the yellow flag, though there was a chain reaction of contact. Speeney, I want to say Danny Bone, I think, or maybe Slate Myers, one of the two.
Yes, Slate Myers.
Slate,
yes.
I think it was. Yeah, Slate involved in that incident as well, and they just all checked up over by turn 4. So I guess this counts as the commentator's curse more than anything else, because for as much as I just talked about us not having another green flag run as long as the one we just had, now we're locked into that. Just over 25 laps to go in this.
All right,
let's go to a commercial break here as we get a yellow, and we'll set you up for the final 25 laps of the 50th running of the Hayes Jewelers 200. You're watching coverage of the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series live from Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on Flow Racing. That's about as slow in the restart box as I've seen Burt Myers go all night, but yes, Brandon Ward now will have some form of clean track for the very first time. Lee Jeffries, Denny Bone makes his way up high. Chris Fleming, we've not talked a lot about Chris since he got caught up in that incident, but he steadily worked his way back into proceedings. Skip Flores goes high.
Well, Chris was just involved in the last caution flag, and he's in 7th, 8th place. That's what the choose cone does.
Kyle Southern, unfortunately, though, going back to the pit areas. Jimmy Amsher will pull the modern Chevrolet pace car down. Restart coming on lap 178 as Myers and Brandon Ward tangle in the front.
Wheel to wheel, tire to tire, contact in the south turn. Ward tries to hang on. Now he files in behind Myers for second. Myers, your leader. Second place to Ward. Now side by side for 4th, 5th. Jeffries stuck on the top side.
How much does Brandon Ward press the issues? Jeffries will get in line just in front of Slate Myers and behind Danny Bone. That'll be for the 6th position. But Ward and Myers have driven away from everybody else. This is becoming a 2-driver shootout at the front as Speeney and Bone continue to fight for position.
Bumper tag up front. You heard me go, wow, like this. I lost my mind. That's because Brandon Ward got it to the backside of Burt Myers. It is on right now with 19 laps to go at Bowman Gray Stadium. Folks, you said it before. When are the gloves going to come off? The gloves are coming off now.
At this point, yeah, you have to go for it. If you've got a car, you've got speed. And now look at the way Burt Myers has responded. He is now beginning to throw down the laps that Citrus Safe Cleaners machine is capable of. He's gapped Brandon Ward by about a car length or so, and Tim Brown is stuck behind this group already by about maybe a third of a straightaway. Not really an answer that we've seen out of the Rocket just yet. Maybe there's something left in that car, but as it stands, this is all about Burt Myers and Brandon Ward.
Look at this right here, this great view of modified stock cars here with the beautiful green grass of the football field here and the horseshoe of wild madhouse maniacs that surround this 200-lap affair, and Brandon Ward is starting to catch him again. Here comes Ward in the north turn. He's going to start applying the pressure to the guy that's led all of this race.
Oh, contact there in the middle of the corner, trying to avoid Danny Probst and just about, or rather Daniel Beeson or Danny Probst. No, still, that's how crazy this is. I'm blanking on names as now the yellow flag comes out. One car slow on the outside of turn 2. Might have been Skip Flores. How close is this going to get now as we get 10 laps to go?
Well, remember here, 10 laps to go. This is going to be a side-by-side double file choose cone restart. Fans, with 5 laps to go, these restarts would then become single file restarts. So will this be the last double file chance for a guy like Brandon Ward or anybody throughout the field?
Potentially. And now this is where, if you were hoping for a short run to end this, if you did not have speed in a long run, this is played out exactly into your hands. You're hoping that you set up your car so that you've got something in a 10-lap setup like this. But I have no doubt there are some drivers that probably were better set up for a long green flag run and are probably ruining this rash of yellows that has really changed the shape of this over the last 15 laps or so. There is a good look at the flying taco of Danny Probst that brought out this yellow flag.
Hand-painted car. Gotta love it. Anyway, action back at front. We have the cone is out. The cone is out. We are assuming, of course, Burt Myers will take the bottom. Brennan Ward will likely take the top. Could this be the final choose cone restart of the night? Myers' car looks like the handling has gone away. Yes, as we predicted, here comes Ward to the top.
We've got people here in the flag stands that are sort of imitating the flag folks.
People in the suite.
Yes, in the suites. But I think again a good illustration of how excited people are to see the action back at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Oh, look at the front bumper caved in on the Brandon Ward machine. As Ben Dodge would say, double file and make you smile. But Burt Myers says, no way.
Waited on that. Waited on that one again.
Mind games here at Bowman Gray Stadium on every restart. Lap 190 on the board right now. Both drivers firing their engines, clearing them out. Nobody wants to give an absolute shred. Fans on their feet. Emerald flag flies. Great restart for Brandon Ward on the outside. Can he cut down a Myers? Contact! Myers! Ward! Ward is spun! A calamity of modifieds in the south turn!
And the entire grandstands erupted on that one. Everybody had something to say about what just happened over in the south turn. I see fingers, I see fists, I see clapping hands, I see everybody. And now I see Brandon Ward starting to pull up near Burt Myers, not necessarily directly next to, but you won't find someone without an opinion on what just happened.
The fans are alive. They erupted in emotion here at Bowman Gray Stadium, as they often do. People are saluting the driver of the number 1. People are saluting the driver of the 104. Will he get his spot back? I think he thinks he will, but the caution was flown for that incident. I believe that car did come to a stop. Looking over to the left, the scorers right now are deliberating on what will be the ruling here at Bowman Gray Stadium as we await this. Who will be scored in second position? Right now we know Burt Myers will be your leader of the Hayes Jewelers 200.
Here comes the track official over in turn 3. We may get the answer to this. Everybody's going past. So no lost track position for Brandon Ward yet. But there's another official coming out onto the front stretch. There are two.
Boy.
We've got both officials out of the flag stand to sort this out.
Stretch here. Here comes the
So here we go. What do they do with Brandon Ward in this? They're waving Burt by. They're stopping Burt. They're stopping the entire field. And now they're going to do this one by one. So Burt's going. Burt's getting the signal to go. Pace car rolls. Burt whirls.
And they're waving Brandon Ward to second place.
Okay.
And in a moment here at Bowman Gray Stadium, if we look wide at this arena, everybody has lit up their cell phones on opening night for NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series excitement, and the Fireflies are out.
This is one of the coolest things we have seen come about at the Madhouse in the last few years. Unbelievable stuff there. We'll take a look and see what happened between Brandon Ward and Burt Myers.
Contact. Ward tries to cut down right now. Burt Myers washes up a little bit and gets into him. Incidental hard racing contact right there, and a pile of modifieds. But, yeah, you know what? All the cars stopped. That is the right ruling by the officials. Okay, watch this. The one goes, he's first. The entire field stopped and is frozen right there. The 12, I believe, is a lap down of Dean Ward that passed him. Now the first car to leave the pile
was Brandon Ward.
Brandon Ward.
Yep.
That is the right call by these officials. Great job here by the officials here that hand score this event, making the right call. Wow, what a moment. Who would have thought that you'd be wrecked in the turn and still maintain P2?
Well, I think the other interesting thing about this is that the line that Burt took was pretty consistent with the line he's taken, especially on restarts. Yep. Every single time we've gotten going, he's sort of diamonded it, and he's gone shallow on entry and then drifted up the racetrack. Every single time he's hit someone alongside him. So that was the same line that Burt's been riding, and then they just made contact. But
there's a great replay. Look at this replay. Ward pinches him down. Burt gets into the rumble strips there a little, the turtles, washes the nose of that one up. Incidental contact. But look at the fans erupting right there. An incredible moment here of drama at the Madhouse. That's why they call it the Madhouse.
At no other place in NASCAR will you see fans react like that.
No. I mean, I love short track racing. I've gone to 200-something racetracks. This right here, there's nothing that's more passionate about than Bowman Gray Stadium.
And how wild this is going to be. And I think another noteworthy point in all of this, I don't know if anybody has shown as much speed as Brandon Ward has restarting alongside Burt Myers throughout the entirety of this Hayes Jewelers 200. He's had some good cars alongside him, but Brandon Ward consistently has shown speed. Even when he was running back in about 5th or 6th, he has methodically made his way to the front of the pack so that he could challenge Burt. And that's really the first time I can think of in this race where Burt was legitimately threatened and stood a legitimate chance of losing his lead right off of the restart, especially firing up back out of the zone and back to green on that initial lap.
I've got friends blow me up right now, texting me going, how is that the right call? The guy wrecked. Well, like we showed on that replay, the entire field stopped except for Dean Ward's car, who is a lap down. So the first car out of the pile was indeed Brandon Ward. So to further explain that to you, if you're watching, how the heck can he get P2? I thought the same exact thing until you see the replay and the proof's in the pudding.
Well, let's go back and let's explain how it normally works, right? In that if you are involved in a yellow here at Bowman Gray
and you stop
and you come to a stop, you usually are the person that gets sent to the back because you were the car that stopped with the caution. But if the rest of the field stops behind you, then they can't send one car to the back because everybody stopped behind. So you just have to reset to the running order that you had, basically.
Let me ask you something. You ever clog a toilet? Okay, nothing goes down through the drain. Nothing could get through the drain right there in turn number 2. Okay, that period. That's what happened. I disagreed with it at first. I'm like, how could the 04 be in second? But when you watch a replay, it's clear as a Carolina blue sky. Choose Cone was out, possibly for the final time. Now the restart with 5 laps to go this time around. Burt Myers, Brennan Ward coming to the green. Cat and mouse games continue here at the Madhouse. This is maddening to watch for some of the onlookers. But it's just part of what makes this a show. These drivers don't want to give up a single inch, James Pike, and here we go.
Now down another lap, 196 up on the board. Ward, Myers fighting, another pretty good restart. Burt Myers, though, with a better jump. Brandon Ward with the pinch. Myers down on the concrete, tries to arc it up, but he can't clear Brandon Ward, so they'll be door-to-door down the backstretch.
Side by side they go, coming to 2 laps to go. Myers has led the entire Hayes Jewelers 200. He doesn't want to give up now. Ward washes up high. Myers takes the lead. Ward fighting hard on the outside, trying to keep Denny Bone at bay.
I don't think there was any contact between Brandon Ward, so now he's got to fight, but there's yellow in the back. There are cars stuck in the north turn. Lee Jeffries, Chris Fleming parked on top of Lee Jeffries, and that will set up a late race restart.
Jeffries has a view full of the wheel of the number 16 right now. It has cleaned off the air cleaner, possibly on the top of that 75. All racked on top of each other in the north turn are the 2 veterans.
Those 2 stuck in the corner. I just thinking back from
now
what I
it's
saw.
single file, by the way.
Right, single file restart A, but I don't think there was any contact. If there was contact, it was slight. But that was a case of, I think Ward just overdrove the corner and just drifted high.
Well, boys, this is going to be a little Jenga time here. Chris Fleming is stacked on top. Here comes the Daniel Davis towing. The Big Red. They're sending they got to send the big dogs out for this one. I mean, they're stacked on top of each other.
Big dogs got to eat.
You can't send old Blue out there. We need the big dog, old Red, Big Red. Let's show a replay here of what happened here in the north turn.
So out comes the yellow. Here's a look at this over in the north turn. And, yeah, Fleming's already stacked on top of Jeffries. That looks like a classic case of 2 drivers going for the exact same piece of track entering the north turn.
And we'll get a second look at it here. Here is Fleming underneath Jeffries. Jeffries comes down into him, and then, hey, you can't do anything about that. That's just going for the same piece of real estate, both drivers.
Good eye there, and great work by the camera team to capture that from all angles and make sure that we got a really clear view of that. But
it did knock look at the air cleaner on the top of the 75 car right there, knocked aside. Here's the scary part about that. Okay, if that car can even fire, that's where the throttle linkage is. So you got to be very careful with that, because you don't want a stuck throttle or anything. So we'll see if that 75 refires. I would say likely his night is over. Let's take another look at that replay here. And the 16 is underneath him, has position. 75 comes down into him, and hey, the 16 tried to get into the grass to avoid the imminent contact, but couldn't.
2 drivers fighting for the same real estate here. Jeffries is come and gone from the pit area, the work area. It functions similarly. If you're a dirt racing fan, you see the dirt racing on flow, same sort of idea.
Yep.
Because there's not an actual pit road here at Bowman Gray per se. There's space where all the haulers are lined up behind the field house, but it does function more like a dirt racing work area than it does an actual asphalt pit road, which is interesting.
Well, folks, you know what this means? At work, when you want to earn extra money, you do enough hours, you get overtime. Well, folks, we're going into overtime here in the Hayes Jewelers 200. I believe the 6th time, Justin Mincy, the 6 times that this race went to overtime from the top rope.
But the first time since 2019, which is interesting, I think.
Oh, Mincy, man. The unofficial historian of Bowman Gray Stadium. He's still young. It's hard to call somebody that young a history goat. But he's getting there.
So, overtime process here.
Yes.
Things to note. Single file restarts, I think, is the biggest
single
one, right?
Single file restart here with 5 to go. It gets deemed single file. We're on lap 2:01 right now. Lap count really doesn't matter. It might end in 2:10. Who cares? But overtime is going to be green displayed. Next time around in the modified division will be the white flag, and then the next time around will be the checkered flag. If there's a yellow flag before the end of the race, we re-rack them, restack them. No caution lights and cameras to determine finishes. Old school.
Even if there's a white, even if that yellow
100%.
comes, but that's a little bit different. That's the part to note. That's the part to note more than anything else. It's a yellow at any time. So here we go.
Oh, Lee Jeffries has returned with his mangled machine.
Here we go. The final chapter of the evening between arguably the best battle, especially in the second half of this race. Burt Myers, Brandon Ward, Danny Bone, and Tim Brown waiting in the wings should anything happen to the front two. How does this pan out, Matthew Dillon?
We're going to find out. Fans on their feet. Single file. Green flag is out at Bowman Gray.
Good run in the corner. Ward to the rear bumper of Myers. Checks up, gets a good drive away. But here goes Ward again. And Myers with some breathing room as he takes the white.
One more trip around the famed quarter mile. Can Brandon Ward do it? Burton drags the brake a little bit. Now, will it be the north turn nudge? Yes, it is. Ward gets into him. Myers sideways. Here comes Brandon Ward to win the Hayes Jewelers 200. Contact is the result. Burt Myers leads all but one lap. It's 2. Brandon Ward, he is the winner.
The entire grandstand just erupted. I'm not sure whether or not there are more people that are fired up or enraged or excited over that one. I think the biggest question is whether or not Brandon Ward will see that as just for what happened on that restart.
We're going to let you hear the madhouse here because this crowd is electric.
It's all yours, buddy, and I tell you what, Randy Pulliam, what a finish. You are absolutely right.
Now making his way into Bowman Gray Stadium victory lane is Brandon Ward, his 13th career win and first ever win in the crown jewel known as the Hayes Jewelers 200, the Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports crew running to victory lane. Let's go to Randy Pulliam.
Let him hear it. Brandon Ward, the 2025 champ of the Hayes Jewelers 200 that went to overtime, 204 laps. And if you look at the front horn on Brandon Ward, Brandon Ward. What a race. What do you think, Madhouse? What do you think about that Hayes Jewelers 204? The winner for the 13th time in his Bowman Gray Stadium career, Brandon Ward. Brandon, my oh my. 204 laps. You led the last one. That was the most important one. Congratulations, the Hayes Jewelers 204 champion, Brandon Ward.
Man, you got to love this place, right? Whether they're booing or they're cheering, they're making noise, and that's what Bowman Gray Stadium racing is all about. So, man, that one car was good. He beat us in it last year. This is the only big race we haven't won. Never really thought we'd win a championship before we won the Hayes Jewelers 200, but we but we did, and now we were able to capitalize and do it tonight. And you know, we had a good car, just got trapped in traffic, and Will Spa made a good job to pit, take tires, make a couple adjustments, and just can't thank Kevin Powell, everybody with this KP Speed Motorsports group enough, Will Spa, all these guys that work so hard. Suzuki, Q104, iHeartRadio, Stilo, Simpson, Molecule, Fordable Tow in the Drive Shaft Shop, Squeaky Clean Express, Racing Electronics, Miller, KevinSaysYes.com, Foothill Ford, everybody that makes it happen, PSR, Bilstein Shocks, PJ Brown and Tim Godshaw, thank them so much for what they do. They really help turn our program around. So thanks to Hayes Jewelers for sponsoring this big event, and we really appreciate it.
Brandon, I imagine this had to be particularly sweet. A few changes since last season with your team.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You know, we won 5 races last year, but we fell just a little bit short of the championship, run second to Burt. And I knew it was going to come down between the two of us right there, and he had a really good car too. And the deal in 1 and 2 was just racing. I mean, I felt like it was just racing between the two of us on both deals, and you know, he had a good car tonight too. So hopefully it was a good show for the fans.
Good start to the season. There's a history for winners of the Hayes Jewelers 200 moving on to win the championship. Long way to go, but it's a great start in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, just take it one race at a time. We're just coming to try to win races, and if you do that, it'll fall where it needs to.
Brandon, congratulations to you. Brandon Ward, the winner for the 13th time, going over to the Carolina Wood Floors Winner's Circle to pick up some Winners Hardware.
Wow. Unbelievable moment here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The fans have just finally exhaled. We still have more racing action to go after this wild one. 3 more races. Oh, boy, Brandon Ward getting the hugs from Zach Brewer's wife down there. A celebration for the Kevin Powell Motorsports, Speed Motorsports team. And let's look at the replay here. Look at this as Brandon Ward comes to the checkered flag and the fans go crazy. He comes out to booze. Hey, folks, love it or hate it, still the most exciting of them all.
Welcome back to Flow Racing's coverage of the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series from Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And after that thriller of a finish in the Hayes Jewelers 200 for the Brad's Golf Car Modifieds, out come the little cars with big-time action. It's the season opener for the Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series.
I'll tell you what, I love the Buzz Bombers, baby. This is one of the best divisions here at Bowman Gray. So if you're tuning in and you're just like talking on your couch to your family about what you just saw live on Flow Racing, don't turn it off, because these cars are wild. 2 features for the stadium stocks, 2 different sets of race cars, as well as the Wild and Woolly Street stocks to end the night here at Bowman Gray Stadium, the 76 season opener. Let's give you the starting lineup for the first 15 lappers, starting on the pole in the Little Donuts. Yes, Little Donuts. Number 81 from Lexington, North Carolina. It's the great Chuck Wall to the outside from Lexington, North Carolina as well. The number 11 dispensary machine for Sydney Sanders.
Starting in the 3rd spot, it's not a Pinto, it's not a Mustang, it is the Pintang of Chris Allison from Moxville, North Carolina. And to his outside, also from Moxville, North Carolina, in the number 1 Magic Pools and Spolton Brown. And starting shotgun on the field in 16th out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the number 61 of Blaine Curry. And there is a look at your 5-time now Stadium Stock champion and defending champion, A.J. Sanders.
A.J. Sanders with an eventful morning, okay? Yeah. To talk about an eventful morning, you don't get more of an eventful morning. Had a skirmish this morning with a young driver that is actually driving one of his cars in practice, and big damage. You kind of see the damage on the right side rear of that car a little bit, but the front side of the car was what really took the damage. Incident this morning in practice. They had a front bumper bar pushed in on the tire. AJ got out of his car in the pit area, pried that thing out of there. A few weld spots, a few fender braces, bumper braces, all good for the 24 car. 35th season of the Stadium Stockers, and this guy is the perennial favorite, A.J. Sanders, 3rd championship in a row last year.
But tough cars in front of him. Brad Michalowski, he'll have to fight off. Grayson Keith, he'll have to fight off. Chuck Wall, he'll have to fight off. Also a former champion of stadium stock competition here at the Madhouse. 4-cylinder, 4-tire magic about to unfold at Bowman Gray Stadium. Jimmy Absher pulls the modern Chevrolet pace car down to its place in the center of the north turn, and Chuck Wall will have the honor of leading the field to green and kicking off the 35th season of action for the Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series.
Wall to the lead. Now here comes Michalowski. The Slim Reaper by a slim margin by Michalowski for second position. A.J. Sanders all the way up to fourth for Sanders, but the battle is on for second. What a battle between Michalowski and Grayson Keaton.
Michalowski and Keaton just don't want to give it up. The problem is that Chuck Wall is getting away from all of this, and A.J. Sanders is about to enter the frame. So Sanders goes in trouble, though. Trouble for Grayson Keaton. I think there may be a flat tire on that car. I saw sparks coming out of the rear of that machine, and that will bring out the first call 811 before you take caution of the night. Grayson Keaton, the Slim Reaper, with trouble. He is immediately trying to turn his car to the work area and just makes it. He almost clipped the wall over in turn 3.
It's tight over there now.
Tight. A little bit of a reworked entrance here, and one that is definitely trickier to navigate than it would have been a year ago. They pulled the actual entry to the work area further down towards the center of the corner than it was before the old Armco was taken out. So it's a harder right-hand turn to make it into the pits.
Chuck Wall, your leader. Greg Butcher Trucking Velocita machine. Let's look at the Flow Racing replay of see what happened here. There's the contact right there. And it looked like maybe a left front went down after that, or maybe a right front. Let's see it maybe here. Hard to see. It looks like that right front is up.
Left side, I would think, because there was the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, left side would make the most sense, but he knew immediately.
Oh, yeah.
It was very clear and just got right on the binders and said, you know what, time to stop it. So, lights off for the modern Chevrolet pace car. Chuck Wall in control of this, then Michalowski, then it's the 24 machine of A.J. Sanders. 3 laps of 15 on the board. Green flag back out. Good restart for Chuck Wall. How quickly does A.J. Sanders try to work over Michalowski for the runner-up spot? That's the question this field, this crowd is wondering.
Michalowski washed up high there. That's opening up a little daylight. And here he comes to expose it right now. The Grandmaster of the Stadium Stocks marches his way to second position. Give it to Sanders.
Sanders in the mix and makes the move. Connor Keaton will follow suit, even more behind, continuing
Isaac
to
Harris.
push. Isaac Harris with a good move now. So Michalowski restarted in second. Will go all the way back to the 5th position, and we're not even a third of the way through proceedings in this first of 2 stadium stock races.
The cream has risen to the top. Chuck Wall, a perennial favorite. And right now the battle is on for second, third, and fourth. That is tight right there as Connor Keaton gets to the back bumper of the 24. They have speed, and they're all over the Grandmaster.
Do you push the issue with A.J. Sanders, or does A.J. Sanders find a way to respond, or do you leave an opening for Isaac Harris?
He's pushing it.
That is a straight-up push. He pushed him through the entire corner that time as we hit the halfway point in this race.
Connor Keaton has speed, and he's showing it. The 24 is playing perfect defense, trying to keep the contact, very straight. But now, Keaton again into the backside. It's bumper cars here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Sanders can play defense on Keaton all he wants, but if Harris forces the issue on Keaton, I don't know if he can keep 2 cars from playing bumper tag. And now there goes a run to the inside for Connor Keaton, who's going to look down there. Sanders tries to close the door, gets washed up a little bit, but gathers it and manages to hang on to second still.
That is as clean as you can race with making pretty darn extreme contact right there. This is great racing.
Big bump, big bump. They all go wide. Here comes Isaac Harris to the inside, and he may get both spots as A.J. Sanders just keeps it pointed in the right direction, but Isaac Harris makes the move to second.
5 laps to go as the leader checks out. The battle is on. Isaac Harris marching his way to the bottom. Now marching his way into the back bumper. A little bump and run for Isaac Harris to the bottom of the 24.
First time someone's been able to get underneath A.J. Sanders in this race. Immediately contact in the south turn. Can Connor Keaton follow in the gap that Harris made? No. But will there be contact in the corner? Yes. And will Harris get away? And will there be more action behind between Keaton and Sanders? As Keaton sends Sanders on the racetrack and makes the pass in the south turn.
AJ's car is a little bit snug right now, and you can see it, and these other cars have speed. Sanders will drift back to the 5th position. White flag is out. Your leader is Chuck Wall into the south turn. The 81 leads it. Here comes Wall down the back straightaway. Can he win? He has clear daylight in front of him. For the 35th time in his career, Chuck Wall wins.
Uncontested was the Greg Butcher trucking machine at the front of the show. We had great battles for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but all that did was allow Chuck Wall to get away. And he goes wire to wire in this first Q104.1 Stadium stock race.
Well, the white flag was out twice.
Didn't change the thing. Chuck Wall still won.
Chuck Wall still won. Well, Chuck Wall, the scoreboard may say A.J. Sanders in 2nd, but it was Connor Keaton in 2nd. Michalowski, Isaac Harris. Chuck Wall gets his 35th career stadium stock win. Wall passes, Charlie Curry for 3rd place in the all-time wins list. Those are good friends right there.
But that's
Charlie
big.
Curry.
That's big.
Huge triumph for him. Charlie Curry, one of the greatest to ever run the stadium stock division, and such great respect between those competitors for years.
And so now Chuck Wall only trails Randy Moore and A.J. Sanders.
Wow.
The only 2 names left on that list.
Look at this camera right here. Gotta love the camera down on the front stretch right now here on Flow Racing to show you Victory Lane up close and all the emotion that is Victory Lane. When you win a race at Bowman Gray, it just means something special. As Chuck Wall gets set to climb out of the little donuts, number 81, let's go downstairs to Randy Pulliam, actually to Chris Carter in Victory Lane.
Chuck Wall getting unbuckled. Race fans, y'all get ready to make some noise. Let him hear you! Chuck Wall, you hear these fans? You tell them make some noise.
Make some noise!
37 wins for you here in the Stadium Stock Division, man. Another walk in the park. Last year, you didn't have as good a luck as you normally have in the past. This year, you start our 2025 season with a win. Tell us about your night, man.
Well, season just got started. We started off strong last year, and bad luck bit us. We still finished 2nd in the points and had 3 DNFs, and I don't think I'd ever had 3 DNFs in the half year. I can't thank all my guys enough. John, Charlie, Blaine, Adam, Peanut. If I left anybody out, I'm sorry. All my sponsors, Greg with Greg Butcher Trucking, Jimmy and Teresa with J&T Services, Adam with John Baker Plumbing, Bad Brad with Velocity, got my new threads.
All right, let's take a quick break as Chuck Wall celebrates in Victory Lane. He'll get on that little podium back there if Carolina voted for his Victory Lane. We'll come back as we have another Stadium Stock extravaganza, and the Wild and Woolly Street Stocks will be closing out the night. We'll be back on Flow Racing.
Welcome back to Flow Racing's coverage of the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series from Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm James Pike. He's Matthew Donor. We're here at the Madhouse, and we have another Q104.1 Stadium Stock Grid to deliver your way. This is the second race of 2 for this series this evening. Starting off on the pole back in Stadium Stock competition, how about it?
Oh, it is Brennan Lee Brendel. He's returned
to
the division.
He has.
Is the great driver of the Affinity Insurance Group, number 43 into the outside. The number 80 from Advance, North Carolina, is Luke Smith.
Starting off in the third spot out of King, North Carolina, piloting the number 69 Madness.com machine, it's Brandon Krantz. To his outside, starting in fourth, it's Greasebug of the Pew Auto Crushing and Metal Recycling Snappy Inc., number 58, David Beauchamp.
Starting fifth, number 44 of Blaze Sanders in the Dean's Tree Services car, and the Patriot Market 47 alongside for Tyler McDonald.
Starting in seventh, the 95 machine out of Kernersville, North Carolina. It's the State Farm Jet Filler Bubble and Sons pressure washing machine of Levi Holt. To his outside, the number 27 machine out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina. It's Austin Cates representing Tight Singers Lawn Care and Tunnel Mechanical Solutions.
Well, his brother starts in the 9th position, driving the Disco Turkeys, number 51. It's Andrew Cates, and to the outside, it's Adam Peanut Baker.
Starting in 11th, the 90 out of Welcome, North Carolina, Robert Bugs Stramisco had a great day in Rockingham with Jesse Love. To his outside, the 36 of Austin Long for Winston-Salem.
Well, Jesse Love got DQ. Oh, boy. Jesse Yopp, Robbie Shrewsbury line up in the next row, and of course JB Lineberry, Light Bright, and Andre Chavez, who crashed with Mr. AJ Sanders in practice, rounds out the field.
One more Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series race this evening. Green flag is out and they're underway. They take off, and Brandon Lee Brendel is back at it with a good run to the outside. Smith trying to hang tight there, and Brandon Krantz with a good run to the inside. It's contact further back in the field.
Battle is on up front. Krantz to the bottom of Luke Smith for the second position. Krantz, could he be the feel-good story of the opening night? Coming back, that number 69 machine, but now Greasebug has a handful in the third position. 3 wide, almost down the back straightaway for the Greasebug. McDonald to his backside. Luke Smith is going backwards fast.
Luke Smith falling, Tyler McDonald rising, one of the faster cars in this division. Look at McDonald with that great run to the inside to take away the spot from David Beauchamp. Made that look easy. So now McDonald up to third, but will need some help to try and run down Brendel and the 69 machine of Krantz. So McDonald beginning to pull this group, and then it's war from about that point on. Blaze Sanders also in the mix too. That's about to become a 7-car pack for fourth.
Yeah, you got action everywhere, and that's what you get when you get the Stadium Stockers right now. Greasebug sending it in there, Mach 1 sliding up to the wall. Oh my gosh, that was incredible save by him right now, and but he's going to lose some spots right there. Behind them, the Cates boys are trying to come through the field. Austin Cates, and then Blaze Sanders in the red, number 44, but it's on Luke Smith now to the bottom of the 95 machine.
Luke Smith trying to recoup some of the lost track position that went away earlier. We're almost at the halfway point of this race. Going to hit cross flags, I believe, this time by when Brandon Lee Brendel comes across the stripe.
There's the new number 36 car. Right there of Austin Long, the great rookie from last season. Brand new body, not a brand new race car actually, in that number 36. Kind of looks like a dirt body, like some of those, Keaton boys.
See a lot of that. Oh, big stack up there, and Brandon Lee Brendel has to slow down, and that'll give the opportunity for Brandon Krantz to try and go to the inside and take away the race lead. Brendel got caught up by the lap car. Now we get a yellow flag for a spin over in the corner. As is the case often at the Madhouse, everything happens at once.
Andrew Cates, they've got Ty Singer's lawn care, and he's caring for the lawn right now. The Disco Turkey goes around in his beautiful number 51 machine in the north turn.
Disco Turkeys with a big year coming up this year. They announced the deal. They're going to play all of their home games at Wake Forest Baseball Stadium this year.
I loved when they played it here at Bowman Gray. But here's the stack up. You see Light Bright right there. The black and green car, slow on the bottom. Robbie Shrewsbury with a little bit of handling issues, and he He goes inside, then outside. Didn't know which way do I go? Which way do I go? And you see Kratz almost getting the spot there to the bottom. And then maybe we'll see right here. There's Beauchamp, Grease Bug turning around, and there is Cates with the spin.
So Andrew goes around. If there's a winner out of this yellow flag, hands down, Tyler McDonald. No doubt in my mind, because all of that track he had to gain, he's right up on the rear bumper of Kratz and a Brendel now. So, continuing to sort things out, but that'll be your top three when we get back to it. Brandon Lee Brendel and then Brandon Kratz.
Brandon Kratz right there could be the story of the night. This is a guy that's lucky to be alive. He was involved in a serious accident at the end of last year. It's a miracle that he lived through it, and it's a miracle that he's back racing here. So many people supported him on this mission, and now second place as we take the green.
Did not get a great jump, though, on that restart. Brendel clear by about 3 car lengths already, and now McDonald immediately to the bottom to try and give chase with a good run down the backstretch into the north turn. A little bit of a push from Mook Smith, and now Kratz is just stuck up on that high line looking for any sort of gap to get down.
Oh, man. That was tough there for the number 69 machine as he had second place locked up, but that restart really sent his night into a little bit of a tailspin.
Oh, big shove there, a little bit further back.
Baker, yeah.
Yeah, big move there.
Levi Holt in that. Oh, I think Andrew Cates is in the lawn again.
This time slow, no yellow yet. Car is stopped. Now we'll get the call 811 before you take caution.
Brand new body on that machine. Actually, a lot of brand new parts. Same old chassis. Brand new body, brand new brakes, a lot of brand new parts that the Cates boys put on that machine. Their father, Michael Cates, had a terrible accident in practice today. Glad that he is okay. His car is not. So only 2 of the 3 Cates family will be represented tonight in feature events for the stadium stock division. Brandon Lee Brendel in his return to the division. He's on top, buddy, in the Infinity Insurance Group. The that car looks like it could be called Casper.
Friendly ghost and not an eye on it. One to go here, so lights off the modern Chevrolet pace car. Jimmy Abser will pull it into its place in the north turn, and we'll get back going to action with a handful of laps. 3 laps to go when they come back to the stripe. Brandon Lee Brendel's been unchallenged in this race, but he hasn't had anybody as strong as Tyler McDonald behind him. So how does McDonald play this as they get back going? Good restart for both of them, but a better restart for Brendel. We'll get about a car length gap going into 1. Kratz there in fourth, rather. Going to have to fight off a whole host of cars. And Smith able to hang on the rear bumper of McDonald as Kratz slides back. Front 3 get away.
Good action for the 4th and 5th position right now as Holt is on the bottom. Brendel leads the way. 3-car breakaway up front.
3-car breakaway. White flag out for Brandon Brendel. Trouble, though, a little bit further back. Kratz and company sideways. Is that going to bring out a yellow flag before we get to the end? It will.
I believe we'll have to look when we restart. We might see the green and white together when we restart this.
I would believe so, because they did take the white before that yellow came out, so I would expect a green and white, and then a checker. So 1 lap restart.
Green and white together.
Right.
1 lap, quarter mile shootout.
As opposed to a green white
checker.
Right. So
the fans can't hear our commas. Commas are silent when you're talking, right?
It's like a Let's Eat Grandma versus Let's Eat Grandma thing. You ever seen those shirts?
Huh?
Okay, so they have shirts where it's the phrase "Let's eat grandma," but the commas in different places.
Let's eat.
Let's eat grandma versus let's eat grandma.
Eat.
I think I might have truly lost Matthew.
Yes, I am in a galaxy far, far away.
Star Wars Day isn't for another 2 weeks. So there's Brandon Lee Brendel. There's Tyler McDonald.
Maybe you need to write that one down.
I literally am.
I'm confused. Hey, guess what? 1 lap shootout. Who's going to the pay window after a quarter mile here at Bowman Gray Stadium? We're going to find out here shortly. $14 on the board. Green and white together. At the line, a quarter mile to decide it. Brendan Lee Brendel leads them down the back straightaway. A spinner, Peanut Baker, but it looks like coming off the north turn. Welcome back to victory lane, Brendan Lee Brendel.
Another incident over in the corner right at the end of turn 4, but it's Brendan Lee Brendel who's going back to victory lane for the first time since August 19, 2023. It's his 31st career win in the Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series, and that outplaces him 5th on the all-times win list amongst the Stadium Stockers.
What a way to come back to the series, man. He moonlighted in the Sportsman division last year and, you know, gotten a few kerfuffles. And now comes back to some familiarity, a little home cooking, back to his familiar Stadium Stocks. And first time out of the gate, a win for Brendan Lee Brendel.
Ye old stomping grounds,
Ye old stomping grounds. I don't know if I don't know what he thinks about the grandma thing, but
well, now that I've written it down, does that make more sense?
You talk about Brendan Lee Brendel, and I'm going to read this. Your handwriting. Yes. Are you sure you're not a doctor? Dang it! Just talk about Brendan, please, while I decipher this hieroglyphics.
Right, cursive. But the you can see the comma. The comma is in important places as Brendan Lee Brendel celebrates here and has his opportunity to go celebrate and join everybody. We're waiting for Carolina Woodfloor's victory lane to come out a little bit.
I get it now.
You get it now.
But it's just a weird sentence. Let's just say that.
You got to go find it. I've seen it on a T-shirt in a few places. Okay. So how about we stop worrying about commas and let's go down to Randy Pileup in victory lane to see what he has to say with Brendan Lee Brendel.
And this is an explanation point.
For the QRC HVAC and Refrigeration Street Stock Series, Brendan Brendel, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon, win number 7, I believe, in your Stadium Stock career. Took a break from Stadium Stock racing last year. I think you went to Sportsman racing and back in Stadium Stock. Tell us a little about that, the decision you made that.
I got 3 boys that play travel baseball, and there's just not enough time in the day for me to run that Sportsman car and run like I want to. So I'm super thankful for Todd Barnhart. Hey, run my car this year, and here we come.
Brendan Brendel, you want to thank your sponsors?
That's a statement of intent, I think. Here we come. Brendan Lee Brendel not to be trifled or messed with in the Q1 or Q104.1 Stadium Stock Series. And that leaves us with 1 race left on the card this evening, and we'll have that for you when we come back. You're watching coverage of the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series live from Bowman Gray Stadium on Flow Racing.
We are back at Bowman Gray Stadium, and we are ready for what I call the Wild and Woolly Street Stocks. The QRC HVAC and Refrigeration Street Stock Division here at Bowman Gray Stadium. This is going to be a good one. 20 laps, excuse me, for the Street Stockers. There's Halby's car. That's what we're going to call him now. It's not Alberson anymore, it's Halby. All right, let's give you the starting lineup. Starting on the pole, the Avery's Collision, hoping he doesn't have one. Number 35, it's Andy Avery. To the outside, the Shoot Concrete. Number 88, it's Brian Shoot.
Starting in third out of Lexington, North Carolina, the number 72 Turn and Burn Hobby Raceway machine, piloted by Brian Robertson, and to his outside in the fourth starting position, the number 23 Joey Miller Realty machine out of Curtisville, North Carolina, Jordan Atkins.
Starting in the fifth position, the Mountain Fried Chicken machine, the number 24, it's Austin Jones. And to the outside, the two-time defending champion of the division, the High Point Auto Potty car, the Hot Rod Barn hero, Christian Joyce.
Starting in 7th, the number 17 out of Lexington, North Carolina, had his breakout season in this division 1 year ago. The Studio 17 speed printing machine for Andy Southern out of Lexington. And then starting in the 8th position, the number 9 machine out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's the Fortress Roofing Studio Hour photography machine piloted by Brandon Brown.
Starting 9th, the Kogar Plumbing, number 30, Zach Kogar. To the outside, the legend, the Silver Fox, the greatest hair in the division, the number 2, it's Willie Wall.
Rolling off from 11th, it's Moose, the 00 out of Walburg, North Carolina. The structural repair of the Triad machine, Donnie Martin behind the wheel. To his outside, starting in 12th, number 13, it's K-Train out of Moxville, North Carolina. The garage doors of the Triad machine, driven by Kevin Gilbert.
CCW Insurance is on the side of the 82, but we know him as the nickname now. Justin Alverson, Halvey, starts in position 13 to the outside, making his debut in this division, the number 33 of DJ Dean.
It's Kyler Staley out of Lexington, North Carolina in the 8. Wes Glasgow out of Louisville in the 21. Brian Sykes Jr., Zach Staley, Braden Staley, Brad Lewis, Jacob Brooks, Craig Hartless, Emily Lewis, and Nate Kirk. Your starters for this final race of the evening. This, the QRC HVAC and Refrigeration Street Stock Series.
Nate Kirk making his debut. Some debuts tonight in the Street Stock division. DJ Dean, one of them. But hey, old familiarity on the front row. Bryant Robertson leads them to green. Green flag is out. Robertson with a giant jump into the south turn.
Robertson with a jump. Austin Jones there. Big battle behind. K-Train almost got turned. Back behind this group as Andy Southern will take over that third spot. Jordan Atkins to fourth. Christian Joyce working that high line around K-Train to try and get fifth.
Joyce stuck to the outside groove there, making hay though. Jordan Atkins almost gets into him. The number 1 loses off the throttle, but then cuts down to the bottom of Atkins coming out of this north turn.
Battle for fourth, battle for first happening in front of us as you see this great fight here as Christian Joyce will get up into the fifth spot, take advantage of that, slide that battle further back. Meanwhile, at the front, Austin Jones beginning to pressure as there's a stack up a little bit further back in this field. Christian Joyce got hung up on the high line, and that makes it fun towards the back end of the top 10, but there's still all kinds of pressure that Brian Robertson is trying to hang on to as Austin Jones turns Brian Robertson lead, and Austin Jones goes to the point after contact as Robertson will fall all the way back somewhere around maybe 10th.
Wow, bad turn of events for the Turn and Burn hobby, number 72 in his return to the division. He's going to try to march his way up to the front, is the big man. But the Mountain Fried Chicken machine stands alone now at the top of the field at 24. Bottlenecks all over the track. Brad Lewis, the number 16 machine on your screen, the black and orange car. Now, here comes the K-Train. Choo-choo to the bottom of Andy Southern.
All of a sudden, that car has come to life. Kevin Gilbert did not get going on the initial start, but that thing looks really good now that there are a few green lap tires. But there's another car stuck over in the grass by the north turn, and that will bring out our first call, 811, before you get a caution of the night.
The Moose got really loose. The Mule Skinner Trucking 00 of Moose Martin. You know, I asked him today for the first time a question. Let's see what happened here on the replay first. There's Moose Martin, the black 00. Brand new car for him, even though it's still a pretty old car. 15 years newer than the car he drove the last time we saw Moose Martin. There's Bryant Robertson, a little bit of smoke billowing from that machine. We were over at Turn and Burn Hobby the other night, me and Justin Mincy, after having a burger at Zeno Marshall's Thunder Road Grill, and the 72 that we were just looking at there owns Turn and Burn Hobbies right next to it. An incredible RC racing track, indoor facility. They also have a dirt track out back. Folks, if you got a kid, man, that's a great way to kind of get them exposed into racing. If you can't afford a race car, you know, just $100, $200, you can get a really cool entry-level RC car and have a lot of fun. It's a great family environment over there.
It's insane to see how fast those things go on a RC track.
They're incredible.
Like the scale speed is it's nuts. It's something like if you scale them up to full size, they'd be going like 400 miles an hour or something, right?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Now, hey, the cars are almost stacked up and stopped all the way through the field. But we're going back to green. 7 laps into this 20-lap feature. The green flag is out for Austin Jones, but here comes the K-Train. The K-Train underneath him. The battle's on for third right now. They're stacking up. Yellow flag is out. Halvey and shoot. No, Halvey and Kogar go around in the inside football field coming off of turn number 2. Bryant Robertson is spun as well on the front straightaway. So chaos.
Robertson is turned dead opposite the way you're supposed to go on this front stretch, and then Kogar and company got into it on the back, and I'm not sure which one brought out the caution first.
Kogar's car is just stripped of all its sheet metal. Lots of and he's doing a donut. He's not too happy. Oh, let's keep an eye on him. He is not happy at all. The driver, that number 30, that car, they put a lot of time into that Parkway Ford number 30. Trying to get that thing ready for racing season. He had that on display at the Bowman Gray preview. Let's look at the replay of this. Just so many things happening here. It was hard to even keep track. Here comes the 72. Oh, a little front bumper from Brad Lewis. Second place man in points last year. Turns around Bryant Robertson, and then we look at this view. You see some contact with Christian Joyce, and then the stack up, the accordion there. Polka, polka, polka takes out the number 30 car of Kogar and takes out Halvey.
Yeah, so Halvey and Kogar got the bad end of the deal that really started when Andy Southern missed the corner.
Yes.
Southern was about a groove higher than he would have been, and they were so stacked up behind Southern that it was pretty much just bumper tag, 2, 3, 4 cars back, and then you end up with the Halvey Kogar incident that really tore up a lot of sheet metal off of Kogar's machine.
Man, the action's getting hot. Is it just me, too? Is it getting hot in the booth tonight?
It's gotten warmer in the booth as the night progressed.
I think we're also excited because it's been a barn burner tonight. Lights are out on top of the modern Chevrolet Pace vehicle, driven by former racer Jimmy Apsher. Justin Mincy's wearing out the new whiteboard here, spitting out mad stats here. I wonder what the mad scientist is up to next here to the right of us here in the Flow Racing booth as the Mountain Fried Chicken car gets ready for a restart here with 9 laps on the board, soon to be halfway.
Coming to it, making moves. Austin Jones with a great jump to get away from K-Train. I want to see how strong K-Train's car is off of a restart, whether or not there's pace to match Jones or whether or not that thing just isn't handling the way it needs to off of cold tires. A little bit loose here. As cross flags go out halfway in this QRC HVAC and Refrigeration Street Stock Series season opening race. And look at Austin Jones get away.
Oh, look at there's the new car, folks, for Zach Staley. Purple and yellow this year for the Outlaw. And he's making friends with the wall there. Oh! Andy Avery is spun. The Avery's collision. Number 35 doesn't look much collision damage on that spun race car.
But it was parked in the racing line, so that brings down another call 811 before you dig caution flag. So, bit of a breather. I actually think K-Train's car was better on the restart than I anticipated. Looks like that car's a little bit looser than he'd like, especially on corner exit, but certainly not out of the question. He'll have to get a good restart, but him taking the fight to Austin Jones, I do not think is out of the question at all.
No.
And Andy Southern, especially if he can get 2 or 3 laps, Southern I think is the one that probably is hurt most by this yellow, just because it looks like it takes his car a little bit to get going, and we're only going to have a handful of laps left as the lights are going to go off the modern Chevrolet Pace car this time by.
Still a healthy amount of fans here. I'd say about 8,000 people remaining here to watch the street stocks. One of the more popular divisions here at Bowman Gray Stadium. A little late for a Bowman Gray show. It's nearing 11 o'clock, but it is a 200 lapper to start out the season. So still a very efficient show here Of note, in 5th position, Brian Sykes Jr. has worked his way to the 5th position in the number 99, Kyler Kepley. Tyler Staley behind him.
All fighting for positions for the back. Meanwhile, Austin Jones off the front. K-Train there. How about Sykes looking to the inside of Christian Joyce? Contact there with Joyce. There was a puff of smoke. I don't know how much that hurt Christian Joyce's machine, but there definitely was contact there. He's also lost his spot to Kyler Staley, too.
Christian Joyce, the defending champion of the division, is going backwards here. It looks like that number 1 has some issues to it. As Brad Lewis goes on by, here comes Jordan Atkins. The number 1 files in behind him. Avery is in the infield grass again. We remain green. Coming to 1 lap to go. No, excuse me, 20-lap race. Excuse me. Coming to 5 laps to go. I suck at math. It's okay.
That's why they make us talk, right?
Yeah.
So
you go ahead. You just
trouble though in the front straightaway. The 9 machine hits the fence.
Oh, wow.
Brandon Brown got in a tangle with somebody there.
Brendan Brown and the other Staley machine for Braden.
But we had
Braden Staley.
Both 9s involved.
Baby boy in the wall.
But both 9s involved in the incident. If you had that on your bingo card, collect your winnings.
Well, technically the purple and yellow car, the brand new Staley car, is an 09.
In 09, but it's a small O, so officially it's an 09, but it reads more like a 09.
Little O for baby boy.
Right. So
they're thinking, okay, Braden's nickname, it could be baby boy or lazy boy, like the recliner they were saying to me earlier. Merch. You got to get that merch game going. Green flag is out. 14 laps on the board for the Street Stockers. Brian Sykes Jr. is pressuring the backside of the K-Train. He's all over the caboose right now on the north turn.
And this is just everything that Austin Jones could have wished for and then some, because that battle for second is making it very easy for Jones to get off the front of this field and start gapping everybody here, as there's a big shot from Sykes to K-Train.
Sykes now backs off a little bit. The K-Train sends it in the corner. Diamonds the corner. Tries to get a straight run off. K-Train Kevin Gilbert still winless in his long career here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and he has come so close every year. And right now, he's as close as you can get, P2, but all over the backside of the number 13 is Sykes, and Halvey has spun, and so is West Glasgow. Caution flag is out yet again with 3 to go.
Green, white checker, I think. Is what that'll leave us with?
Green, white checker?
No, green, white checker. But green,
you don't throw a green twice.
It'll be a standard green, white checker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
love look at the
Glasgow
reflective.
Glasgow goes down to the work area, by the way. Here's a replay.
Okay.
What happened?
Look at the reflection. Oh, yeah. There's Staley. Staley kind of comes down right there, and Staley gets into West Glasgow. Trouble for Zach Staley as he uses up that front bumper.
So Staley with some damage to the front end of that Motorsports on May machine. There's Halvey.
Hey, you're aboard the Halvey train now, buddy.
All right, well,
I like it. That car's awesome. Look at the reflective.
Reflections will not fade on that machine for sure. Although that looks like maybe a little bit of a disagreement about who's supposed to line up where, perhaps.
Look at Larry, Darryl, and Darrow wearing their reflective apparel. Oh, yeah, there's some bumper tagging. There's some talking going on between some of these drivers right now.
Not happy. You're already mad at somebody week 1 of the Madhouse.
I mean, are you surprised?
Water is wet. The sky is
Water
blue
is
when
wet.
it's sunny.
Zach Staley is racing physical. Everything is normal again at Bowman Gray Stadium. Oh, no! Trouble in the north turn. Staley and Halvey are going at it. We stay green.
Green flag racing already. Cars stacked up in the back. Austin Jones trying to get clear of everybody. Oh, K-Train was way sideways as the white flag comes out.
It's been mad tonight at the Madhouse, but one driver that is happy and full of excitement coming off of turn number 4 for his 3rd career win. The Mountain Fried Chicken car does it. Austin Jones scores the victory.
Austin Jones gets the job done. Halvey did try and get after
Zach Staley on that last lap and missed coming out of turn 2. So he caught the fence a little bit. Now we'll bring it across the line. We'll see whether or not there are any afters between those two. They are not happy with each other, and I think that's our first maybe big rivalry outside of Myers v. Ward. Zach Staley, Justin Halverson, not going to be happy with one another. Austin Jones, though, will be happy. Picks up the win with relative ease and had a fast car in these QRC HVAC Refrigeration Street Stock Series. And now Zach Staley's getting out of the car. Here we go.
Staley's out of the car. Staley's out of the car. He falls out of the car. He's got the helmet off. Open face. Gloves off. Halvey is trying to get out of the car ferociously. A takedown. They're trying to restrain an absolutely enraged Zach Staley. He's slicking back the hair, letting Halvey coming out of the car. He's knocked down right now. Here comes Halverson. Halvey getting in there. Madness at the madhouse. They're on the ground. The dog pile of emotion.
Law enforcement trying to get in there, too. I think they finally got enough people to keep those two away from each other, or at least not from throwing hands. But they were going to end up in this way some way or another. They both, I think, wanted to give each other a piece of their mind, and the fans reacting here at the stadium.
The carnage of those two cars post-race will be a headline. Emotions erupting here in the infield grass of the football field. A quarter-mile oval. Some crazy dummy is on the fence. Let's get him out of here. But guess what? 31st win for the Jones family. Austin Jones with his 3rd career win and the first since July 15th. The grandson of the great 6-time modified champion Pee Wee Jones is down in victory lane. Let's toss it downstairs to Randy Pileup.
Austin Jones about to climb out of the cockpit. Let him hear race fans, Austin Jones. Austin, congratulations, buddy. Win number 3. Meanwhile, back over here in Victory Lane, they had those shenanigans going on over there. You were taking care of business. You know, I talked to you at the preview last Sunday, Austin, and you said you thought about moving up to Sportsman, but you thought better of it because you had some unfinished business to take care of. What a way to start that unfinished business.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Man, what a race car tonight. It was really good. I hated getting to Bryant down there. I don't know exactly what happened. I saw him get loose, and I went low, and I don't know if he came down or what, but sorry to him. But, man, I can't thank all my guys enough. And all my sponsors are so good to me. I sure wouldn't be here without them and the good Lord above on Easter weekend. Man, this is 1-year anniversary of losing my grandmother, and this is for her, buddy.
Austin Jones. Emotional win tonight from Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time.
Austin Jones with a big victory, and he'll be a happy man when he goes back to work for the NASCAR Xfinity team, Colleague Racing, this week. A big win for a traditional family at Bowman Gray Stadium.
That concludes our program for tonight. We're so glad you could be with us.
All right, boys and girls. Moments. A green-white checker finish for the Hayes Jewelers 200 that brought the fans to their feet. Some were cheering, some were jeering. The sea of boos came. Let's watch this. Coming to the white flag is Burt Myers. Burt Myers at this point, Pike, had led every lap of the Hayes Jewelers 200, and then the north turn nudge.
The big nudge there, I don't think there's any doubt about what happened there. I think the question to ask is whether or not, in Brandon Ward's mind, that was a justified reaction to what happened on that restart about 20 laps before, where he got a really good jump and Burt got loose underneath and got into him.
That's the question I think if you're a racing fan you have to ask about this, because that the second half of that is pretty clear. The first half maybe not so much.
Was it egregious? I mean, he hit him pretty darn hard. Okay, let's just be real. He didn't dump him, but pretty darn hard. But, folks, let's recap tonight. Of course, Brandon Ward, the winner of the Hayes Jewelers 200, his first ever Hayes Jewelers 200 victory in the Sportsman division. The 40-lapper for Chase Robertson.
Third in a row. First time in 21 years someone's gone 3 in a row in a season opener here. How about Austin Jones getting it done, coming back to a full season in the QRC HVAC and refrigeration street stocks. And then Chuck Wall and Brandon Brendel taking new places on the all-time Stadium Stock wins list by taking the 2 Stadium Stock races tonight.
Folks, we got a lot of racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium to give you all year long live on Flow Racing. April 26th, of course, chain racing, baby. Modified, first modified 100, May 3rd. I'll circle that one on my calendar. The Great Street Stock 50, as well as Crash Fest.
So you've got a lot of variety in here. You've got the longest race of the year for the street stocks. You've got a demo derby. You got 100 laps for the modifieds. Chain
Wait,
race.
wasn't that a demo derby with Zach Staley?
Not officially.
Zach Staley told me over Wings the other night that he was not going to get in trouble anymore.
And
it lasted 20 laps.
What that was wrestling on the biggest wrestling weekend of the year. That's what that was. That's exactly what that was. So lots of storylines to come out of this first night, Matthew Dillner. And lots of things that we'll have to talk about as we start off our campaign in 2020.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.